Ahoy. Hey, fellas.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
Oof. Yeah, I hope all you guys are...
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep lowering.
Oh, sorry. What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, my.
We can't hear you, Gibbs, if you're talking to us.
Yeah, so I personally like the music.
Yeah,
no, you don't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't. No,
I like the music. I don't know what he's talking about. It's very soothing. You need like background noise. These shows are too like loud. Everybody's arguing. We need like something to cut the mustard in the background. You know?
Yeah. And honestly, all I need is Gibbs's approval.
That's right.
All
right, that's all you need. All right. Then I'm gonna hold you. Then you and Gibbs are perfectly aligned. Now on.
I don't know about that. Oh, hold on. It's just when we do align, you know it must be correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right.
Clock or right twice a day or some shit, right?
I've always said Gibbs is the wisest person I've ever met. I put the stream together link in the chat if you'd like to join. But yeah, sorry. So we'll just be waiting for a few others. Hopefully they'll get here soon. Yeah, I hope you fellas are doing well.
How about that World Cup final, right?
No, I didn't watch it.
I didn't really watch it either. I just know stuff happened.
Riddell, you were traveling last week. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. You can just tell me. But like,
nah, I'm an open book. Yeah, I was at DreamCon last week.
Okay.
Cool. So that was a pretty cool event. Going to Texas for the first time, going to an anime nerd convention for the first time. It was dope. I think it was an enjoyable experience. Houston has good food, all that stuff.
Was that the convention center in downtown in Houston?
You said what?
Was that the convention center downtown, like the one attached to the Hilton? That one? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly what this center is called, but yeah, a pretty good spot. So, a pretty cool event. Some things didn't go the right way, but that happens with trips sometimes.
Okay, I guess I've been to the Otakon convention. That was when I was in high school. Me and my friends traveled to a different city, and we got a hotel and sorry, what did you say?
Oh, I say it's the George R. Brown. It's ADHD kicked in. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, so Otakon, yeah, that was fun. And then from there, I've gone to a few of the we'll call them the off-brand. Was it the comic book conventions? The big comic book convention. What's it called again?
Comic-Con?
Comic-Con. Yeah, Comic-Con. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The big comic book convention.
Well, there's a couple. There's a few. Houston does not Comic Palooza. It actually has more people than Comic-Con, but nobody ever talks about it.
Oh.
I've gone to a few of the off-brand ones, not the main ones in I think there was in New York and Los Angeles or San Diego or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con. There's a New York Comic-Con. Yeah, those two. I've been to those two. I've been to some of the off-brand ones they have in different cities. But that's it. I haven't done a bunch of conventions. I like to do more conventions. That might be fun.
I'm be honest. I'm not a big fan of crowds, but I thought I would dislike it more than expected. But it was a cool experience. I would definitely go to more. I was considering going to the LibCon one, but it was right next to each other, and I'm not spending that much money. That's just crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. You know what's always the hardest part about conventions for me, right? Is Artist Alley. I don't like walking through Artist Alley. Right. So in case you don't know, for people who haven't gone to a convention before, right? They have a corner or something. I don't know. A space for artists, right? Local artists or whatever. They set up booths and to sell, right? So usually have a comic book convention or something. People are selling their own comic books or just I don't know, own posters they make, stuff like that, right? I do not like walking through there. Why? because there's always going to be a few people who don't have anyone in their lines, right? Like they're just empty and no one's gonna, and then you feel bad walking past.
Oh,
I feel so bad.
Totally different than that.
And,
I
man,
also
you
don't
gotta-
like.
But you can just keep walking though, and that
I
feeling
know.
goes away.
If you make
And
eye
then-
contact,
Look,
you
I
gotta.
see
You
them
gotta
and
Well,
they see
nah,
me
see, I don't
too.
have this
And-
problem, but artist alley is the worst. And it's kind of, and I'll tell you why. It reminds me of like when you go to like, this is gonna sound kind of bad when I say it. When you go like Mexico or you go to like countries where you still do the bartering a lot, or like, and you'll go and like they'll like harass you, and it's like, oh, I'll give you this poster if you buy 2 of these. I'm like, I don't want any poster. I just trying to get over there, and they're like, no. But well, if you buy this, I'll give you. And I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to barter today. Like,
yeah.
like I don't know.
Admiral Gibbs is got exactly right. Yeah, that's 100% what happens too. Yes, I can't just walk forward, but like so for me specifically, right? So I'm not. This is not something that applies to anyone. Oh, Admiral Gibbs, thank you for the kind resub for 34 months. It's really kind of you. Thanks for sticking with the channel. So I'm not the. It's like this is a thing for me, right? This is like a specific problem I have. I don't like when people
I can see that.
I don't like when people are left out, right? Like it's a big issue. I like if I see someone out off in a corner, I want to like go include them, right? Like I will like go out of my way and say, hey, you want to jump in and or whatever, right? I'll try to make them feel comfortable because I was excluded as a child, right? And I don't like to see that in other people. And so when I see people like just sitting there alone and like people aren't approaching them. And then they're here to more of that to make money. It costs money to like one if they
The space in the booth and all that stuff.
but then also to rent the booths, right? And then bring whatever equipment, whatever they have, right? That all costs money, and they got to recoup at least that. And for me, seeing them there, it sucks. And especially when I used to go to these places, I would be broke. I didn't make much money, right? So I didn't have much money to spend. And so that sucked. I have bought like a few items here or there, but like I haven't, really, like, I didn't have enough to like. And then sometimes it was a good art. It's not like it was just all like shit, Sometimes it was just good stuff, but like I don't got the money, and I just feel real bad. So yeah.
No, I rock with that. I would probably do the same thing unless they're just selling some unsavory things. With that said. Yeah. I would say the problem I had, the biggest issue by far, and it's not even close, it's the flights. I was supposed to go home. I was supposed to make it home by like 9 a.m. My flight was at 5 a.m. I was supposed to be home at 9 a.m. I ended up getting home at 1 a.m. the next day.
I think it has a lot to do with those goddamn Canadian fighters that
well, getting out of the there is a pro to that, Riddell. Like if you like, so I like landing that late because you get in and it's your stuff with like a fan belt and you're gone. And like,
but he's not saying that. He's saying his flight was like a 24-hour delay.
Yeah, that's shitty. But like I was saying, like the one nice thing if you get home at a late time is that like
there's nobody there. So
I book my flights really early or like really late for that reason.
No, 100%. It's a smart idea, right? Like you just
I can literally get up, take a shower, and pack the night before, and I just like walk on from like the through security, and walk right onto the plane, and like it's super
really
easy.
Nice, yeah.
Versus like go and I have to wait 3 hours at the airport or some shit.
Yeah, the TSA because I had to because my flight got delayed. First, it got delayed from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's what the first delay was. And then when I go in that Houston airport, that TSA line was forever. That shit was disgusting.
Yeah,
and then my flight got canceled like 4 times, and then I didn't get home till 1 a.m.
Houston's rough. There's like both of them are massive. Both airports out there, like Hobby and George Bush.
It was rough.
Terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you got home safely, Riddell. That's the most important thing. But we're just waiting on one other person. They're probably gonna take a while, honestly. But we'll see. What do you guys want to talk about while we wait?
Well, yeah, why don't I do this while we wait?
Was that a Zin? Was that a Zin? Ali?
Oh, bread.
It's a giant
That's a big Zin, bro.
It's a tortilla Zin. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. What do you guys want to talk about? Did someone say
Well, hey,
something?
before we do that, wait, if you want. Hey, guys, go to GridCon 2 this weekend in Dallas, on Friday. Make sure you're there. Tickets are free. There's going to be food.
What is GridCon?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, Coy. Thank you so much.
I might actually, I retract my question. Actually, I'm not.
Oh,
sure.
wow. It's almost like it was planned for you to ask. Yeah, GridCon is going to be a debate event. We have all these people that are debating right here.
And I can clearly see all of them.
Yeah, you can clearly see them all. It's very clear. But the point is, we got Father Joseph versus, I think maybe it's Rich Tidwell's not who it is anymore. I think it's Dusty or Flow State. We have the starters, Taylor Fogarty. I have Tyler versus, what's his name? Vince Wilson show. We got LSP and Jake Moore, and then Bozu versus Wally. It's going to be good. I think No Fugazi is supposed to be there. That'll be exciting. You'll be walking around. I think we're going to have some Congress people there. Former Congress people. I know Brian Slayton's supposed to show up, so that'll be interesting. A couple other people that might be there. So it's going to be a good event. I have maybe at the SODMG crew, if you know Soldier Boy, they own a gaming group. Some of those guys might be there. It's going to be kind of a hodgepodge of people, so it won't just be debaters. So I'm trying to make this an event.
Hold on. Did you say Soldier Boy?
Yeah, he owns a big gaming organization. You know how they
have. He owns something.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but like Optic and all that. He owns SODMG, so some of them might be there. I think one of them just won the Yu-Gi-Oh fucking World Championships or some shit. So whatever.
Maybe Soldier Boy. Sorry, this is not to make fun of your event. I'm not. That's not.
Sure.
I'm just talking about it's not an insult to you.
I'm
just saying that
not my
Soldier Boy. Yeah, Soldier Boy previously. I mean, you guys don't know what he was up to before. He had those fake game consoles. He was
that's funny.
Soldier Boy console. Yeah, this was a while ago.
I don't know about that.
Oh no, yeah. He got these off-brand devices from China, and he loaded them up with old ass games, and he called it I'm launching my new platform, a new console. And it was you've seen these before, right? These cheap ass
they have 100 games and or some shit.
Game Boy knockoffs or whatever.
Knockoffs.
And it was
car or something.
Crap. You can, if you search for it, you'll find it.
I'm sure,
thing.
But he might not be there. But I know his organization. He owns a gaming organization. They compete at high levels. They're pretty good. They're how it's just Optic. They're esports. I don't know. Anyway, and then a few other that I'm unaware of. Yeah, there's a few other people that'll be there, local celebrities kind of thing. So it's gonna be good. It won't just be the Crucible or DGG. It'll be we're expanding to people outside the debate world, trying to get new people in. It'll be fun. It's in Dallas, 24th this weekend, 10 a.m. 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.
This is your event organized by you, or?
Yeah, it's me and Grid and Glenn Lawrence here put it together. It's Grid's event, second one he's run. I'm associated with. I'm the master of ceremonies and the host, and some of the people I've got there are my people, obviously. I did a lot of the organizing. There's some money in it. It's but yeah, it's not the Gibbs event, but it's basically my event. We're this is the second year I ran it now.
Okay.
Hey,
cool.
Yeah,
it'll be good to see it.
Oh, y'all tickets are in the chat, by the way. If y'all want it, anybody wants.
How much are the tickets?
Free. They're free this time because next time they won't be. But it'll be.
Well, how were they free last year?
Last year, I don't think we even had tickets. We just kind of threw it together last minute. And then this year, now it's we're running two events.
Evolving.
We're doing two events. We got promos. We got the Eventbrite. And there's some competition. There's another event going down. And guys, I really got to say, my enemies really got to stop being my enemies because every time they become my enemy, their world falls apart, and I just do better and better. I'll use an example. Counterpoints, his career's in the toilet, and I'm going to get a knock on that guy every chance I get. And then we got this guy Speakeasy. He make an enemy of me. Nobody's even going to go to his event. They got no event. They don't even have a venue. And guess what? We got a venue. We've announced shit. I got backups for if anybody drops out. I got backup commentary girls. If these commentary bitches back out, I got backups for them. What do you got? You got Bumpkiss Zero, buddy. Suck my dick. So, yeah. They got to stop becoming my enemy because I just keep winning and they keep losing. And when at TwitchCon, they asked me why I didn't want to go to this event with XQC. I said, "Oh, I'm busy." And fucking Ice-T Mero, and I forgot the other guy showed up at my event. And I was like, "That's right." They left the other thing to come see me. So you tell me which one of events y'all want to go to in Dallas. Speakeasies are mine, and why is it mine? I don't just not. I'm just saying. Come here, it'll be fun. But that's all I got to say.
And who's your backup, Gibbs?
There is no backup for me.
There's no replacement.
Yeah. Can't.
But Gibbs, like I'm happy to see that things seem to be going well for you, right?
Yeah.
Like that. I know you work really hard on all this stuff, and so happy to. And it's not surprising to me that people get you to run these things. Like you're a really fun individual. Like I keep telling people, it gives us a lot of fun. And you're a charming person, and so. I'm just saying that, like, I hope it works out for you. It's fantastic that next year it's even bigger, and then you can charge money for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, and people were worried, like, what if nobody shows up? Like, that's fine. We already got the debates, the live events. That's the main thing. We're having a secondary stream going, and like, we're gonna have professional quality. It's like, the people going is just a plus. Right, like so it's like my theory is always plan for the worst and hope for the best, right? And so like our worst case is gonna be good either way. So fuck these bitches; they are never gonna be as good as us.
Is it gonna be streamed anywhere, or
yeah, it's gonna be on probably I think maybe on mine on Twitch, but it's definitely gonna be on Grid's YouTube, maybe on his Gun Prattle channel, and then because they're going to be maybe a third channel, I don't know yet, but they're going to be different things on each one. So it's like you're watching, well, not for the Twitch. There's at least going to be one other stream that's going to be doing all things. So we'll have like a commentary team or like an interview channel where they're going to be like interviewing people beforehand. We have like the main debate stage, and then we also have side rooms so that we can set up like impromptu like live debates like in the other room that might be going on a third channel, like from people, because a lot of content creators are going to be going there. I think Sean Kelly might go and do an IRL interview with somebody. So there's all sorts of stuff. So we're trying to make it like a convention, right? You go to all these debate cons and shit, and like this is not the MASH modern day debate, but they do it at a hotel where it's like a convention center. I've done that, right? But even when I go to convention centers at hotels, they usually have like vendors, and like none of the debate people are doing that, right? And so this is like a step towards that. Like we're having it at like a media center. Like this is a place that's dedicated to like having like events. You go, it's like a mini convention center for like recording and then like having like audience and then having side rooms, right? So we're trying to like move it that direction and start doing these debates. And then maybe next year we're going to go independent and do our own instead of doing it along with somebody. And we'll probably try to get vendors. We'll try to get sponsors. And try to have like other creators that want to do stuff at the convention center as well, like, right? Because I want to like make it a convention, not like, oh, we had 8 guys debating one day, 8 guys debating the next day, and it's all just be sit around in the lobby the whole time. Like, no, that's not the future. That's why these get like, I don't know. You see what I'm saying?
I love the forward-looking, perspective you have here.
Yeah,
it sounds fantastic. I mean, I think it's very useful for the space. So it sounds like you got things really solid. If I was anywhere near,
of course,
that's very far away. But
yeah, I mean,
you got to start. Once you get some money, you got to fly us out for these things.
Well, yeah, of course. We start getting paid. I mean, like the thing is, like, you have to pay some people for some of this shit to like get people there, right? Like, like flights or whatever. It's just like a little, but like, that's like it starts getting pricey, right? You got to get a venue, that's probably like $2,000, right? Then you got to get like the equipment. Well, you either buy it or bring it, right, or rent it. And that's
or
the
rent
thing.
it,
yeah. Then you start like adding like people. Like it's not that expensive to get one person a flight, but when you start like adding up like 8 people, and then we're gonna get a hotel. Oh, well, I like and I go Grid, let's get food. He's like, oh yeah, we gotta get food. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll go to Little Caesars and pizza. He's like, nah, that's cheap boy shit. We're gonna go get like Terry Black's barbecue. I'm like, that's gonna be like $3-4 grand just for the food, like and like not that I'm broke, but like this shit starts adding up quick, and so
it does.
Yeah, like I don't know, but I think we're traveling to the next one. I think we're looking at like Florida for the next spot, and like we're gonna do it.
Florida's good for that.
Yeah, and we'll do it there like a cold winter month, so everybody's already like traveling anyway. But like I told them after the holidays, so like maybe the end of January, early February, people have recouped from the holidays a few weeks,
Yeah.
It's all about planning.
Do you have an example of some of the debate topics? Or is like the
headline
debate topic?
Yeah, so I think that it's going to be Father Joseph versus Rich Table. This one I think is the only one. I don't have the official debate line yet, but it's going to be over something degeneracy. Stardust and Taylor are going to be is feminism bad for America? Tyler and Vince are going to do something related to NATO, I believe. And then Jake Paul and LSB are going to, I don't know. Yeah, we have all the set topics. I don't have the list in front of me, but yes. It's on the event, right?
Jake Paul?
Jake Paul, I mean, sorry, not Paul. That'd be something, right?
Okay, sorry. I was like,
You get Jake
I
Paul
didn't
in the
think
debate
that's-
world.
Gibbs'
If that's not the main
connections go
event,
deep.
I don't know like what should be here. He's there
Yeah,
for the
Jake Paul
sideline.
was there. He's the main event.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, all right. But interesting. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
again, I hope that works out.
I think I'm gonna try to get Cubot for next year's one. I think that'll be funny.
As a debater.
Yeah, or maybe as like or she does a show or hosts something.
Yeah, she could do.
Well,
a
I know
show
that
there.
she does the show, but like I don't
Yeah.
think she can debate.
You'd be surprised. She is.
You're right. I would be surprised.
Wickedly, like you ever talk to like somebody and you just like see the like it's like when you talk to like a or you see like a big cat and you see like the wheels turning behind them where they're like sizing you up, like how do I eat this person, how do I like that's her, like when you talk to her, like you talk to her like online, it's like it's vapid host, right? But when you talk to her like in person, it's like, oh, this is a fucking like apex predator right here.
It's
right?
a
Like,
businesswoman.
yeah, she's like very like way more intelligent than her like online persona.
Well, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not.
Not that
debating
she acts dumb.
I
Like,
have
you
no
know.
doubt that she's business savvy. Like obviously she's grown a following, but that's totally different than let's say blood sport debates.
Well, okay,
Well,
I'll give you an example.
that's what I'm saying,
We were on that like that Royale. I think Prime did it too. He started off won like 8 in a row or some shit. And somebody said something about ranked choice voting, and she immediately shut that down. It's like, no, that's a boring topic. Da 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 da. And we're like, all of us in the back, we were like, wait a minute. She knew, not only did she say no, she knew exactly what it was. And like, which is maybe not that impressive for us in the debate world, but if you're like thinking someone's like, oh, casual Bob over here, and then they're over here like giving you like a 3-step breakdown of why we're not going to do that topic, and it's like concise and to the point, you're like, oh, wait a minute. She's like, she knows the topic. Not only does she know it, she knows there will be bad content for what she's doing, and she's aiming it towards like top subjects that'll be like that shows some level of like higher like level of thinking.
Yeah, I'm with you, and again, like Corey, he talked about her running a debate, which is what she did before, a political debate. That's what we were on, me and Gibbs. So yeah, she could do it again. And like it doesn't matter what she does, she gets like at the minimum she's getting 3,000 people, right? Like that's probably a low day for her. So like whatever. That would be a huge get for Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good. I think she's pretty smart. Like, and Charlie, she's another one in there. Charlie does debates and shit, and like she's part of their team. So I mean, I think this is the future. I think it's the whole like maybe even it's not my event, but the idea of like moving away from like, oh, we're doing it at hotel convention centers and doing it like in like the actual like events,
actual
like
convention centers.
Yeah, or like, okay, so Destiny and them have done that Funk Truck tour with Pangbro, and I went and did that, right? And it's like you go to a church. Like that's a cool idea. That's good for a tour. I think that's a lot.
You go to a what? You still go to
a church? Like they rent it out like a church, or they rent out like whatever venue is available.
That's good for like these tours where it's like one view, whoever, right? But like I think that when we're talking about like having like debate events, this like World War style debate and this what's the one, the modern day debate style, I don't think that's the future. It seems very like UFC in the early 90s before they got bought by Zuffa, and then once it gets bought by Zuffa, they turn it into a mainstream sport by okay guys, get a suit. All right, we're gonna get legit sponsors. We're gonna take Condom Depot off the back of our pants. We're gonna like, and like shit like that. And like, I mean, little things start adding up, right? And then like now they're owned by TKO, and it's like one of the biggest sports in the world.
The production
like,
value goes up.
Yeah, it's a lot of these things. And so I mean, I think that's kind of where the debate world is right now.
Process,
they became very
right?
corporate.
Yeah, you got to.
Sure,
I'm not mad at your thinking.
Unless you have like a lot of funding off the bat.
Yeah.
But, like it's unlikely.
Yeah, but exciting times in the debate world here for all of us.
All right,
exciting.
Riddell, can you explain to me the Stevens I'll say it hate? Why am I not? I'm seeing a lot about Stevens in the Michigan Senate race. Why am
I mean, it's not. I would say it's not. I don't. My thing for Democrats, you guys should just be rooting for the Dems. But did it get louder? Oh, I thought the music just got louder.
No,
so
Better
my
not.
thing
It
is
should get lower.
the big conversation is that people think Stevens is in line. I
Now
swear it
it
got
was-
louder again.
So go ahead.
Stevens is aligned with Israel, AIPAC. That's what a lot of the claims are being made regarding her. And then Syed is more of the far left, progressive Medicare for all type of candidate, and he's associated with Hassan Piker because went on a bunch of his streams. So for the people on the more far left, Stevens is like the enemy, is the perception at the very least. And I'm like, I don't have anything against Syed. I'm just like whoever wins beats the Republican candidate. That's where I'm at.
Her voice is enough for me, man.
I wanted McMorrow to win. I just want to be very clear, but she does have kind of
Another
an annoying
Israel
voice. She
bot.
has like one of those sitcom, older style, like that nanny from that one sitcom type voices.
Called the nanny.
She sounds like she's from Boston. Like we got to get at it. It's like I don't even know where she gets that accent from in Michigan.
McMorrow and Stevens are interchangeable. Like literally completely interchangeable. In terms of the policies. So like whatever. Syed's the only like alternative choice there. I mean, hopefully he pulls it out. I mean, he doesn't have money power, right? Like, if you want big money, well, the big money candidate is without a doubt Haley Stevens.
Yeah,
like 50 million, like into the campaign, like just like at the end, they're just dumping money here, 50 million because APAC has got to stop them, and not just APAC, right? It's also the pharmaceutical industry, right? Because she's in their pocket. So like, if you want that those types of policies, then go ahead, vote for Haley Stevens. She's your gal. If you want someone to actually fight for you, then yeah, this is why this like vote blue no matter who is just like bullshit. Like I don't know, man. Like why do I have to vote for an individual who is like absolutely in the pocket of big pharma? Let's say I don't care about a genocide and I'm just like a horrible person, right? There's so many of those around here. Well, 1 second. $10 from our friend Doobie says, how could anyone support the I see Israel in my dreams lady? Yeah, that's Haley Stevens. Haley Stevens, like she was the one. In case you haven't seen the clip, right? You can find it very
I know how, Doobie. It's right here. It's this right here. It's cash. That's what
legitimately.
Yeah. Like she's like Israel has come to me, right? And I've like seen a prophecy of Israel and its greatness, and we stand beside it. You know, like, well, this is kind of nonsense, right? Like, but yeah, this is like when we talk about the blue no matter who, that means, right, that we accept this crap. That we say that, like, I guess that's fine. That's good enough. No, we at some point just need to have standards. Or they will give us
the standards are gone.
I won't agree or co-sign any of that until I look into her policies. It does seem that at the very least she is pushing back against Israel as she should, especially since Netanyahu is awful. She said Netanyahu is bad for American Jews. So it seems like,
hold on. Oh my God, Riddell, please.
No. The
Riddell,
point
please.
is,
no, we can't let that walk by. Riddell, like that's what all the corporatist Democrats do now, right? All of them say, because they can still read polls, right? Even though they pretend not to sometimes, right? They get like Israel's unpopular, and so because they can't actually go against their Zionist masters, what they do is say, oh well, no, it's not Israel's bad. It's Netanyahu's bad, right? This is like an old basic trick. This is what they say. Like, and Netanyahu's fine with it, right? He gets this. And he's willing to play the dummy,
the villain,
guy. The villain. Yeah, sure, the villain. He's willing to play the villain for them. That's more than okay, right? As long as the money keeps flowing, and that's what will happen with Haley Stevens, right? Like, please don't get distracted so easily. Oh, Netanyahu's bad. That implies that if the next person comes in, well, they'll be completely different. No, they won't be different. This is
the
what
next
Israel
guy. The
does.
next guy has turkey. The next guy has turkey in his eyes.
History, right? And the next guy, right? The people. Sorry, the
wants to attack Turkey.
Netanyahu's arrival, right, for the next election. He's a problem to do the exact same thing. But if he somehow wins, right? Well, then you'll see all these Democrats come out. It's like, oh, okay. Finally, the reign of Netanyahu is over. Now we can get back to supporting our friends in Israel. So, like, please don't get distracted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily an awful thing if Netanyahu is bad and Ben-Gvir is bad. I mean, it's like saying America is bad, but Donald Trump is obviously very evil. So my thing is, if we want to have a conversation regarding Haley Stevens, we can. I haven't looked into her policy because I'm not focused on Michigan. I'm very surface level with that. I've been focused more on Ohio elections. But I mean, at the end of the day, my comparison when it comes down to her is not Syed versus Stevens. I don't care if you vote for Syed. I have no issue with that. It's just when she goes up against the MAGA candidate, obviously she needs to beat the MAGA candidate.
No, yeah, and again, that's where I've been telling. So I think you lost track of what I was talking about. I was talking about vote vote blue no matter who. That comes in during the primaries. That's what I'm.
Speaking of that, like the main guy,
yeah, it should work because they're both blue candidates. That doesn't make sense to vote blue. They're both blue candidates.
I gotta be honest,
y'all. I'm talking about the primaries, Vidal, right? And I'm saying, actually, if the Democrats put up garbage candidates, no.
You shouldn't vote.
I actually, if like I want to like as a conservative, I probably the only conservative on the panel right now. I watch this from the outside, and I actually agree from this a red standpoint because if I was like, I'll use Plattner because he's just the easy one, right? If the conservatives had ran somebody like Plattner, the left would have like been way harsher. They're like, look at this Nazi piece of shit, right? But even then, right, they ran this candidate as terrible, and now I have a source, and I briefly read it, and I haven't read all of it yet, like earlier, but I posted it earlier, but allegedly. The newest guy that's in the lead in Maine right now has been accused of mortgage fraud previously and throwing a bottle at the woman for U.S. Senate. Now, I get that maybe Trump on the right kind of maybe set this precedent because he's kind of like corrupt or whatever. But like when the trend is, okay, we're going to, on the left, when y'all say, okay, we're going to fight it with extreme leftists like Madami, or you're going to put like somebody like Plattner and replace him with this guy who's basically just as bad, if it like, you know, from like a cursory reading, like this actually hurts y'all's party when y'all try to like go like get people that everybody's going to be agreeing on, right? Like if the candidate's a solid lefty, like liberal candidate or a leftist candidate, if he's a solid candidate with not these like eyesore issues, like why don't y'all run someone that's like not like a
God.
Crazy.
Well,
Skip. This is the.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
Me?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying like you can run like a lefty, but don't run someone that's like convicted of like multiple crimes and throwing bottles at candidates like senators and shit. Run like a lefty that's got a clean slate, and that's going to solve a third of your problems already.
Well, I mean,
not a liberal that's like not a crazy person. You know, like
I don't like Plattner either, but someone of
this guy's just as bad though.
Someone found him and decided to put him up there. They said they vetted him. They didn't. They lied.
You know how they find these people? They're finding them off Twitch. I'm no lie. I saw someone do an interview. No, this is a real thing. They found a guy. This is a Democrat strategist. They gave an interview, and he says he's going on like social media platforms and trying to find people that seem well spoken and shit. Like this is a bad plan. Like this.
Sorry, no one found Graham Plattner. Hold on, Vidal. What are you talking about? No one found Graham Plattner. He just like announced.
No one found him.
He announced. What do you mean? You said like
I'm saying someone found Plattner and convinced him to run.
Okay, who was this who found Plattner?
I forget what their name is. I mean, I can look it up real quick, but we know there was people, don't know their name off the top of the head. They said they found Plattner. They thought he was very good because of the background story with the oyster stuff, the military stuff, all that stuff. And they said they vetted him, and on reality, they didn't really. And then they pushed him as the candidate for like a more left-leaning one to go up against Janet Mills. And then obviously he won. So the popularity, what he aligned with like the populist stuff. And of course he aligned with a very like normalized demographic. But then all the accusations started coming out afterwards. So yeah, he was found for sure. But if you want me to look up their names, I can.
Please do. Well, I'd be interested.
Well, I mean, it does, according to his Wikipedia article, it does say that, like, pretty much he was approached.
Oh, by who?
Yeah. 1 second. In July 2025, a coalition of labor and community groups approached Plattner to suggest he consider running for Senate. Why is he the guy? His first reaction was to reject the idea, but that he reconsidered it with his wife, and when the group returned with a detailed plan.
Well, so my point is this: there's like all these people they could choose if they're approaching people that are not like politically active. Why are they choosing someone like Plattner or this other guy that is like running now in his place? Like this other guy might not be as bad, but he's like a convicted dude for mortgage fraud and shit. And it's like, okay, if you just found a normal leftist
Donald
business
Trump's
guy,
a convicted criminal too. Like,
I know, and I already said that. And maybe
Yeah.
that, and I knew that was going to be an argument. But like the issue is when like Trump's kind of like, I'm going to be honest, I think Trump is kind of a unique exception to the rule that maybe proves it because people have tried to recreate Trump. and it's not worked, right?
Well, to
and
be
so,
great, you have to have like a 20-year television history and like, you know, have like whatever.
Sure, so why are you going to go to a guy that's got like a
history.
Nazi tattoo? You don't think inventing the first thing y'all should do is like, hey,
I don't disagree. I was never on board with
you're
Plattner,
saying,
like.
You're saying y'all, like there's like a monolith, like there's different
yeah,
people
obviously there's different groups, it's factions.
Yeah, I can't, if certain people are part of like specific organizations decide to pick a candidate in the state I don't live in, I mean, there's only so much you can do with. And then he rose in popularity because he had the populist rhetoric. He was aligned with like the
he was probably
military white.
Why don't you run Bill Maher then? Yeah, Bill Maher. Why don't you run Bill Maher? I know probably.
Oh my goodness, you yo, you want me to crash?
Bill Maher's gonna.
I mean, no, I actually would like go on Bill Maher, right?
Tucker Carlson's running for president.
He's a lazy Zionist, right? He doesn't know the Zionist talking points, right? But like he
just knows Muslim bad.
Waves at them, yeah. He like
well, which is the correct
Muslim bad, right? Like he's always been lazy. He's been lazy his entire career, right? And he like he'll bring on guests like putting Israel aside, right? Like he'll bring on like conservative guests, like a Republican guest that he disagrees with, and he'll have no idea. He'll literally rely on his other guests to battle him for him because he doesn't know anything, right? So actually, yes, I'd love to go on Bill Maher. It would be easy. Oh my god.
And do the work, man.
Yeah. So what about running him for a candidate?
No.
I mean, I would
running Bill Maher for a
probably
candidate.
Be a decent debater. But aside from that,
I mean, again,
he actually did.
He's not a decent debater.
He's not a job against Anna.
I just said he's not a decent debater. He doesn't know anything, Corey. He can't debate. He knows.
How do you feel about
when he was doing the whole
I don't think he's a
religious
genius, but he definitely knows some things. Like
nothing. No,
I
watched plenty of his show.
He knows nothing. As in, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what you want him to know. I understand that.
No, Corey. I'm saying he doesn't. I'm saying on his terms, right? His liberal terms, not my leftist terms. On his liberal terms, he knows nothing. He is lazy. That's why I keep saying this. I'm not
disputing whether he's lazy or not.
He relies on his producers to do everything, right? And
I agree. I agree. You can be a lazy and a decent debater. These are not mutually exclusive.
He's not a decent debater. And he's like, hold on. No, you can't actually. No, like to be a debater, you have to have a modicum of understanding of the issues. He generally does not.
When I say decent debater, as in like, you know, in our current landscape, technically Trump is a decent debater.
Oh, no, he's not. What are you talking about, Corey? What the fuck are you talking about?
He's more about
he beat up a dementia man.
He wins his debate.
Yeah, in the eyes of the public, he wins.
He's more performative. He's a more performative debater. I don't know.
So you mean like So
that's why I said in today's landscape.
Yes,
right?
Thank you for paying attention, Ali. In today's landscape,
Biden was leaking his brains out of his ears. You're saying, that's proof that Trump's a good debater. It's actually not.
He also debated Kamala as well.
He called Ted Cruz's wife ugly during. He called Ted Cruz's wife a dog during the debate. So
I know
that's a great debater today's age.
But regardless, she's still half his age, is more educated. Okay, and she.
Yeah, but she's bad for other reasons.
Yes,
she's bad for other reasons.
That's why, again,
that doesn't make him a good debater. Just because
I didn't say he was a good debater.
Did it? Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No.
You said he was a good
qualifier.
No. When did I say he's a good debater?
Just now. Yes, you said he was a good debater. He's like, this makes him a good debater.
I said in today's political landscape, he is a decent debater. Like that's
now it's decent now.
Yes, I was making. Why do you think I was making the comparison between Bill Maher and Trump? As in, did I not say clearly that Bill Maher is a decent debater? Were those my exact words?
You also said he's a good debater.
No, I didn't.
So he's a good debater.
No, I didn't.
Run the tape.
It doesn't matter. Decent. Sorry. Decent or good. I don't know why I'm arguing with you. It doesn't matter which one you said. Right? They're the same fucking thing. So I don't know.
Okay, maybe to you they are, but to me they're not. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, they clearly are, right?
Or he's a man of science.
Whatever. The point is that no, they're bad debaters. They're not good at that. Being simply being bellicose, gets you somewhere. That doesn't mean you're a good debater.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I think what Corey's trying to say. I think like let me try to bridge the gap here, Corey. I think you're right, Corey. I think
there's a difference between being effective and being good. I agree with you there.
He agrees with you that Trump's a good debater. You're on the right
side.
No.
What I'm saying. Well, hear me out here. I don't know that it's necessarily that he's a good like purist debater, but he is good for like the media like manipulation of the debate, right? So like if like Hillary says something like, okay, crooked Hillary, and then all anybody's going to remember is crooked Hillary, right? They're not going to remember any of her talking points. They're just going to remember in the one-liner.
I would agree with that.
That is not like necessarily like debate in its purest form, but it is like it's more like the WWE heel, like when the guy won the interaction, which I think is what Corey's
did I not say in
today's
he's more of a
I would agree with you. Everything
no.
He's better at cutting
promos.
You said he's a decent debater. He's not a decent debater, right?
I said in today's no.
I know you said in today's landscape.
No. Yes,
Corey, I heard you.
Okay, if you heard me, then
I heard you. Yes.
Then why do you think I said that? Why do you think
you put out is he a decent debater? I said no, he's not a decent debater.
No.
Right?
Why did I say those words?
Brian, hold on,
can you steal my? Why do you think? I know you don't care.
Gibbs said it's different from what you said. Right? Gibbs is talking about like
Gibbs said I was right. Gibbs understood what I was saying.
I know he did say. Yeah, I know he did say you were right. But I'm saying what he's saying is different from what you're saying. Right? What you're saying is that he's a decent debater, but what Gibbs is saying that it's not in the debate sense, right? What he's saying is that like he's winning the media cycle, right? And the media cycle
the point of the debate,
is good for
which is the point of today's landscape. That's the media.
You just said not the
that's the point of the debate is to win over the media landscape. Why do you think?
Why do you think?
That's not. You can keep trying to move the goalpost.
No, I'm not moving the goalpost. I'm going by my own words. I am going by my own words. Why do you think I said that? Can you steal my position?
Why you said it. Doesn't matter.
So then explain to me. I'm dumb. So
yes, I'm saying your argument is shitty. Understood, right?
Explain it to me.
I think a good example is y'all seen that in an interview.
Media landscape, right? Yes. We have short form content, and it's useful to do the things that Donald does. Be bellicose. I get it, Corey. Obviously, everyone understood what you said, right? So you won't have to repeat what you said. It was clear. I'm saying he's a bad debater.
Well, I think it's like you don't remember Enemy Charlie and Andrew Wilson's thing recently. I just recently watched the full debate, and like Andrew, and this is like not a bash. I like Charlie way more than I like Andrew, even though I'm on the right. Like she unequivocally lost that debate in the 2 hour sense, but her like 2-minute clip is all anybody's ever gonna remember. So she like wins the war, right? And I think that's like kind of like I don't know if it's necessarily exactly the same with Trump, but like I think what Corey, this is why you said like in the space. I think like now maybe it's not necessarily. It's like you have to like learn this skill, like right, which is the one-liners. Right, which is the style that's very like prominent now. So like, yeah, it's not a pure form of debate, but it is a style of the debate, right?
Yes,
like you
do, everyone is aware of the distinction between being rhetorically effective and a quote unquote good debater in the whatever objective sense. But that's why I put the qualifier.
This is the conversion thing, which you said.
If you want me to say rhetorically effective, I can do that. As in, like, if you want to use your metric of bad debater, as in being rhetorically effective and a good debater are two separate things. I agree with that. All I was more or less saying is like in today's landscape, he is a decent debater, which is my other way of saying they are rhetorically effective. That's it. That's all.
I would even disagree with that, but ultimately I understand your point because he gets clicks. You know, he falls into like.
Was he rhetorically effective in winning the election?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all my point is.
Don't you get? I want to be very clear. I understand what you're saying. My thing is, I genuinely think that right now the political debate space has just been bastardized to be political theater. So that's all that. That's all. I wouldn't even call it debate, but I know like technically they call it debate. That's like the nomenclature of what they do when they're on stage, but I wouldn't say that in no sense of the word is debate.
And I disagree.
Like you are agreeing with my sentiment, as in today's
I agree.
We're not concerned with actual debate.
Yeah. So again, you're still wrong, Corey. Trump was rhetorically effective, which is why he won the election. No, actually,
that's not the only reason. To be clear, I'm not saying that's the sole reason.
Okay. Well, still, no, he wasn't that either. Okay, well then, even within your caveat,
did he win the election? Did he win the election? Or are you also
no.
a
Hey,
denier?
again, watch Corey. I don't know why you don't understand why I can't see you moving the goalpost constantly, right? Hey, did he win the election? I didn't contest whether he won the election.
Okay.
I contested whether he won the election due to him winning, being rhetorically effective, right?
That's fair. You can contest that. At the end of the day, we don't actually truly know what resulted in his win, unless you think you know.
Actually, we do have data, and I've actually looked into this.
You know with absolute certainty, even with the data.
No, I don't have to know with absolute certainty. I can look at data, right, and I can see a correlation. I can have some idea as to why it happens. Which
we call it
happens in science all the time, Corey, right? So much of our knowledge is not based on absolute hard facts, but just based on strong correlation from okay, great. So we understand that. Great. So yeah, like it seems like Kamala lost that election. That she actually had a chance to make it, right? To actually had a chance to win. She was up in the polls previously, right? When she first started.
Well, there was a surge in the beginning, yes, for enthusiasm.
And then she went, then she opened her mouth, right? And then people actually started to hear her, right? She realized why she's such a dog shit candidate, right? Went all the way down. Yeah, so people had a surge of hope for her, right? She killed that hope very effectively. Good work, Kamala, right? She had a good attack dog in Tim Walz, at least initially, until she muzzled him. Good work, Kamala Harris. She guaranteed that she was going to be absolutely no different from Joe Biden, the unpopular president who was down the polls then, right? Fantastic work, Kamala Harris. Yeah, she again, like her milquetoast policies, right? That she could barely explain. Like she wasn't great. That's a shame. And I say that painfully because I you guys were here. At least you were here, Corey. I forget my friend Ali was here. And Gibbs was certainly around. But like you guys were there for during the election. I was excited when Kamala Harris. I was not excited, excuse me. I was hopeful when Kamala Harris got the nomination. I mean, it was handed to her, really. I thought, okay, right? She's had some disastrous showings in the past, but like I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna be positive. I think that she might be able to pull this out, right? And I looked for it, and I told people, hey, like you got to be patient with her. Let's see what she has, right? And then she showed us what she had, and she had fucking nothing. Yeah. So once again, I say that like Kamala Harris lost that. Trump just did his regular bullshit, right? The regular bullshit that lost him the election, and even then. Sorry, yeah, I want to correct that too. Did Trump actually lose the election in 2020 because of his rhetoric? That's actually probably not, right? Like he probably lost because of COVID. If it wasn't for COVID, Trump would almost certainly have been a previous two-term president.
But then I would say Joe Biden still out-debated him at that time.
Sorry, what?
But then I would say during 2020, when Joe Biden was a little bit more, savvy in the mind, he was still
when his brains weren't leaking out of his skull. Yeah,
sure, however you want to
that's exactly how I like it too.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Exactly that one.
But Joe Biden was able to at least keep up with him, or at least perform in the debates.
Now, Joe Biden's a good debater. Joe Biden, yeah, I would say Joe Biden's a good debater. Yeah, I think Joe Biden has a history of strong debates, right? Just the last time, like his brain was tapioca, right? Like I mean, I don't tell you, that's what it is. He had pudding brains, and that's why
you know what's really funny about that is his wife has said recently, and this is funny because y'all remember this is how you can't trust the Dems. And Prime is thank you for that segue to this real quick. They said after that debate, wow, he did so good, and then I just watched an interview with Joe Biden said, oh yeah, I thought he had a stroke. And then y'all wanted to run him for like another couple weeks. Like,
well, no. Trust those motherfuckers. Okay, so Gibbs, you know how much I hate the Democrats, but let's be a bit more fair, right? In terms of the Democratic, like the Democratic Party members, right? Being
I think they were very intelligent. They wanted another puppet.
They were done. Yeah, and actually, so even the Democratic Party insiders, who I hate the fucking most, you know this, right? Like Nancy Pelosi, like Chuck Schumer, garbage individuals, right? They actually saw this coming. So it's actually interesting because like there are rumors, and I'm not sure if we've ever gotten this like fully confirmed, right? But there are like articles talking about this, where the scheduling of the debate, right? That debate was scheduled much earlier than usual. They pushed for this debate to be scheduled earlier. Why? The thinking is that the people within the like Nancy Pelosi and those types, right? They knew he was going to fall apart. They knew he was going to be a disaster, and they knew like when the debates are normally scheduled, it'd be far too late. And so they're like, we gotta get this guy out of here. So they like set it up right, and look, if he passed, if he managed to swim, then okay, we can go with them, right? But he sank because he had tapioca for brains. And so then that's when the flip happened. And as soon as that debate occurred, like the Democratic Party establishment was working behind the scenes, right? They were doing it very quietly behind the scenes to get him out. It was Joe Biden, right, the selfish, narcissistic asshole that he is, who wanted to stay in, and he had to like come to terms with the fact that his political career of genocide was finally over. And so that's why it took him so long, which is a shame for Kamala Harris. She had less of a chance to win. But anyway, she was incompetent, so she was going to fail any which way.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. Like,
I think
if you want to frame it as like Kamala lost it as opposed to Trump.
Well, I want to hear.
Yeah, I'm not going to co-sign any of the things that was said, but I will say there's deserved criticism regarding the Dems. Even though Trump is a concern, of course, you got to realize that this is the situation where the man is getting old, he is getting slower, and you guys should have made a change way sooner. Biden should have made a change way sooner.
You're just trying to like.
Well, he, if I remember correctly, he was never supposed to like run for a second time. I think he more or less like framed it like he's going to be a one-term president. He's going to make space for the next candidate.
But his narcissism got in the way, indeed.
I don't disagree. Well, I don't know if it's narcissism, but yes. Like,
I think
what do you think it was? Oh, sorry, power hungriness. What do you think it was?
I don't know, but I
can see
it's
people behind the
narcissism.
scenes.
I'm not
Right.
right.
Okay.
Trump was
It was
concerned.
liar. Which one was it? Right?
Trump
was narcissist.
He didn't lie because he
plain
didn't
liar.
say he wasn't going to run.
I think it was the line.
He didn't lie. He never said he specifically wasn't going to run again. He noted that
he did hint at it. I think he suggested.
The lie was the people around him.
He was going to pave the way for the next candidate, and in this situation, he should have had the know-how that you were declining, and I think that's a fair criticism to make.
Well, unfortunately,
his opinion.
This is just the issue with old people of like they don't know when they're declining. Like I'm pretty sure if you ask Trump, like even Gibbs thinks that Trump is the same as he was like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
that's fine. That's fine to say, and maybe more people should have been more aggressive with him. I think the general thing, which is unfortunate to say, is he and maybe people around him didn't believe Kamala Harris could beat Trump, and they thought that he was the best option.
Well, my 94-year-old grandmother who can't remember 5 minutes ago thinks she can still drive.
Well, I mean, to what Riddell is saying,
you can still criticize it.
I think there's validity what Riddell is saying, though, to some extent, though, because like when you look at this, I don't know that like I think it was Biden necessarily, because when I'm looking at this, I think Biden, yeah, he was everything Corey's saying. He doesn't know he's as far gone as he is. I don't know that he really wanted to run the first time, but he was like, someone has to fight Trump, and I'm the only one, and so he beat Trump, right? And then after that, like he's like, I'm the only one who can do this. I think they kept talking him up, but I think it's like more nefarious than that. I think the people behind him knew that his brain was gone. And I don't think Biden was himself lying, because I think, like Corey said, he doesn't know he's gone. But I think everybody around Biden knew he was gone. And they propped him up because he was a figurehead that they could just use the auto pen. They could do all their other bullshit, just run it through him. And it's like talking to a parent. You tell them what to say, and they're just going, oh, okay, repeat that. And it's going to make sense because their brain's gone. So I think the people behind him were very smart. And they just thought they could hide this and run this again. So I kind of agree with somewhat what Renee's saying, but I think it was nefarious.
Well, I don't agree it was nefarious at all. But I do think it was a situation where sometimes there's a discrepancy between like the politicians and how they perceived like the general state of affairs of America versus how people are feeling. And overall, the policies and the economy was moving in the right direction. And of course, America was doing better than everybody else. But the people were still dissatisfied, and they thought they can ride that momentum, and the people were going to reciprocate that. And that just wasn't the case. People were unhappy because of what's going on with COVID. Every single country was unhappy, and they should have known that in this situation, regardless of the statistics you put out there, they wanted something new, especially when Biden was like 100 years old. So sometimes there's a discrepancy between the people in government and the people, and they think just because they see some polling that can maybe mitigate the gap, but even that doesn't really tell you the full story.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
A long story short, Trump is the greatest debater of this era.
That's definitely the conclusion.
So,
And Prime would agree.
December 11th, 2019. This is U.S. News. Biden suggests he would only serve one term if elected president. Advisors close to the candidate say he won't run for re-election in 2024 if re-elected in 2020.
But that's where it's like, I think in what you just read suggests, as I don't know that he ever explicitly said it, but
yeah, sorry, hon, what are we doing here, Corey? What are we doing here? Why are we running interference for these people?
No, I'm I'm just describing, as in this is the reason why in his mind he had the out, as in like he never lied, just like
yeah, in his lying mouth, in his lying mind, right? And maybe he could delude himself, right? Again, his brain's is tapioca out the answer. Who knows what was going through his head, right? Maybe nothing. He clearly indicated to the country that he was only going to be a one-term president. That was everyone understanding, and that's why it became a talking point in the first place. It's not like it came out of nowhere, right? It wasn't just like millions of people just like collectively imagined this moment in time. No,
I'm the one that brought it up, by the way. Just
he made this. Yeah, okay, great. He made the suggestion. That yes, he would be a one-term president. He would be a transitional president. He would make room for the next generation. Yeah, I remember all these things, right? The understanding among the public was that he was going to be a one-term president. And then he lied about that because he's a fucking liar. I don't know, right? Or maybe he's a narcissist, or maybe he's power hungry, or maybe it's all the above.
Yeah, maybe. I agree. There's probably some bad quality that motivated that.
Wait, so who do y'all want to run for 2028? That's a real question. I think that we need to talk.
Don't say y'all.
There's no one to run.
Yeah.
Who's going to run?
Yeah, who do y'all want? Like, y'all have to come to a consensus now.
AOC. No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, who do you guys have going?
Oh, actually, I do have one. I have Ro Khanna. If anyone, I'd have Ro Khanna.
What? Really? Interesting. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, as among the field so far, he's the best. But yeah,
for no particular reason.
I don't completely agree with
as in like
policies.
Of the bottom of the barrel people, he's the best, or like you like.
No, he's not bottom of the barrel. No.
I'm asking the question: is how you him? As in,
I said he's the best. Like he has like the best
of the candidates, or like.
Who do you like?
Candidates now. There are no candidates. Like of the options,
yeah, purely hypothetical
that people talk about, discuss. Ro Khanna, in my opinion, would be the best.
I honestly don't know. Like, I don't think there's great.
Abdul Al-Sayed for president, just a shout out to the boys. Let's get a Lebanese guy up there, some representation,
I'm asking this because I don't know, and I don't want.
Yeah, Abdul Al-Sayed is Lebanese.
Is he? I know he's of Lebanese origin, but like, is he born in the States or born in Lebanon?
No, I'm born in the States. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Because there is a requirement for the president for that one.
Yeah. That's what I was just asking. I didn't know, and I want to make an assumption. But I mean, hell, if he wins, absolutely. He's looking interesting. But Ro Khanna actually has a record to run on as of now.
Yeah.
And so, I'm.
Well, right now, Ro Khanna's at war with his own base because after his Israel trip, when he got caught up, coming back when he got caught up by the settlers in the West Bank, and now half of his party's calling him a liar or saying it didn't happen. Then you have Mike Huckabee over there, kind of saying like defending Israel over in the American politician, even though you're the American ambassador there, which is a little bit weird, but Well, maybe because he was in the West Bank. Maybe it's because he was in the West Bank without the Israeli.
Well, to be fair, Mike Huckabee is about as far on the right as you can get. Like,
Mike Huckabee just does Christian Sharia. That's all it is.
I will go with that. Yeah, I mean, Huckabee, he's he's like a neocon. He's like one of the last of the old school neocons. So yeah, of course he's going to be against Ro Khanna. But like, I'm surprised you're putting any stock in that, Ollie.
What?
What Mike Huckabee says. I'm surprised you put like any value to that at all.
So here's my thing. I think it's weird that an American politician can go over to Israel, kind of go off the beaten path, right? Which is to go to the West Bank with Palestinians versus like the IDF tour, and then on their leaving, you have the West Bank settlers kind of like attacking him, and this is an American politician, right? And so if we are meant to like exemplify like strength and whatever, and our own politicians can get fucked with while like half of the people that are supposed to defend him just kind of let it be, I think that's a problem. Yeah.
No, I agree. I'm surprised Huckabee's not like, yeah, bomb him, but get our guy back and then be like, okay, now let's talk about what's wrong with him. But I mean, you know, everybody wants to.
I'm just saying it's like the fact that we have someone so crazy and so far gone that like that even you're like, I don't know if his word holds any stock. I mean, then get him out of there and get him out of that position, right?
I mean, I'm not surprised at all from the right, but to be honest,
yeah, I mean that's what I thought you were going to say.
But on the left too,
yeah, I'm not surprised at all. But at the very least, I mean, I think it was a bad situation, and I do think Ro Khanna is using this as a leverage point, which I don't mind, considering he did get stopped by West Bank settlers. I haven't seen like the criticism on the left. For the most part, I've been seeing people prop up Ro Khanna for this to, I'm sure, endorse his eventual presidential run. So that's all I've been saying.
Who do you want for president, though? Who do you think is the best shot for the Dems, though?
Who's the best shot, and who I want? Two different questions. Sure. I would say I've heard some good things. I haven't really looked into it. We're so far off. I've heard good things about Ossoff. I have heard I do like Pete Buttigieg for everything that I've seen there. AOC is going to be interesting, but the tough thing about AOC is just there's too much people who are just not going to like her. It's just unfortunate as it is for a variety of reasons. But I do like AOC. I don't know. I don't really have a large stand, but the two most likely candidates will, regardless of how you feel about it, is Newsom and Kamala Harris. So
that's probably true. As of now,
the two. Sorry. What did you say?
Those are the most likely to be the choice, is Kamala or
Newsom. No. They got the best name recognition. And so if you're going by that, okay, but that's dumb.
50% of the job. I'm not gonna lie.
That might be a variable as to why Trump won.
Yeah, hold on. That's where you start, right? That's where you start at the beginning of the campaign. Kamala Harris had a great name recognition previously, right? Like she was the vice president. I mean, like this idea that like the nominees just are going to be like the ones that we know simply. No, it's actually going to have to match their policies. We're seeing right now a reckoning. Hold on, a reckoning within the Democratic Party right this second, where like centrist candidates, Zionist candidates keep losing. They're associated with AIPAC. They're taking AIPAC money, like Haley Stevens, but they have to pretend that they're not in Israel's pockets, right? They are the preferred candidate of Israel, but like it's so unpopular, they can't actually state it. So people are getting caught right now. It actually matters right now. People are looking at policy right now. You guys wonder, why did Graham Plattner manage to get this far, right? Like, didn't he have all these red flags? Yeah, people were so desperate.
A bunch of green ones too.
Honest actor for someone who can who was representing their goals, their policy agenda. That they were happy to vote for Plattner. So what I'm saying is that no, actually, that won't be good enough. Kamala Harris is a known liar. It will take only a few campaign ads to remind the public of what she did before when she lied up on the debate stage multiple times and then had to then walked it back later on. She did multiple times. It's easy archival footage to pull up. And then Newsom has a terrible track record in California, a terrible track record with Democratic. I'm not talking about even the general public, right? But I'm not talking about Republicans. I'm talking about with Democratic voters of what he's done with the policies he supported or has supported, the things he's killed. He's been in the billionaire's pocket this entire time. It'll be extremely easy. Like, this is one of my problems with political analysis, right? Like, this is my problem with political analysis is that people don't do the deeper next step. You say, oh well, yes, he's well known. People know his name. He's within the Democratic circles. He's going to be able to raise money, as if that's the only things that matter. But there's a wider political context happening right now. And to think that he has the best chance, these two have the best chance. I mean, I mean, this is like this baby's first presidential campaign. I guess.
This is
my exact word is likely, and that's just true. But my thing is,
and your announcement based off of like today, you probably recognize that 2 years from now.
Who would you recommend then? If you had a choice then, now who is your optimal choice?
Or Prime? Who do you think is the most?
Who are your optimal choices?
Well, I think Prime already said Ro Khanna.
You think Ro Khanna is the most likely, or
I don't know. I wouldn't put a likelihood on anything, right? Like it's also ridiculous to do that. Like
it's a guess.
He asked me a question.
It's not a prediction.
I'm saying it's a worthless question, and it's
you had to put
there you go. You're a dumb question, Gibbs.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I mean, I was saying more like if you were signing on. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I guess my question is, I like
Westmore too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not like who.
Westmore, I like him.
Westmore, I don't know. I'm not sure of them.
Yeah, he's
like
governor of
for the Dems,
Maryland.
No, for you.
Oh, for the Republicans, I think right now in the lead, if I had to pick most likely for the Republicans, is going to be Rubio and Vance. I would say Rubio would probably be the ticket holder because he's the older one. However,
hasn't he already tried to run like 2 or 3 times?
Yeah, he has, but that's I think that's actually a benefit.
That's old. That's old Rubio. This is
old Rubio. Yeah, but so Rubio is like
Rubio.
It's like Rubio Unchained. He's leveled up, Super Saiyan Rubio. Like El Presidente Rubio. So like he's got
the water bottle's even bigger now to drink.
Right. I'm saying, but he usually because he's older, but I could see him and Vance duking it a little bit in the primary, maybe. Vance is also very popular. I think it's gonna be one of those two as the presidential ticket. I would be shocked if they split. Because like there's such a powerhouse right now that it's like guaranteed. Like Vance is this new MAGA, and Rubio is like new Rubio, but he's still got the neocon base. And I think if you have those two bases combined, you're gonna win no matter what. And, like there's still some holdouts for the neocons control some county. There's still like some Texas like people that control some shit. But like in like a few other Tea Party faction formers. But like I think those are probably the two leaders. I think you have some dark horses though. Like a dark horse, I think would be Greg Abbott. I think he could fund it, and he can argue that he's been doing a lot of shit longer than the other guys have. Like he's like, I'm the one who fought Biden on the border. Trump wasn't even in office, right? He could do. Depends how he spends it. Also, Paxton is if he wins, that's going to lead me more towards like Abbott running. Yeah, well, Paxton if he wins his mandatory.
Paxton's mess. I don't understand. But Greg Abbott, I think you. Greg Abbott, I think you're on the money.
I mean, Paxton, if he wins the Senate, I think it incentivizes Abbott to run more for president because that means he'll have help in Congress, like right.
Oh, that's
right.
Okay,
yeah, so like I think that Paxton, real dark horse. I mean, I don't think DeSantis will run again, but DeSantis could always run. He's a dark horse. There's a few other like people up and coming. I can't. What's his name for the black guy?
Scott, Rubio. Rubio sounds like a ticket.
Trump on
Vance Rubio.
Rubio is like way up there. DeSantis got unmanned.
I don't think it'll be DeSantis, but he might try again.
I think Greg Abbott
will get even bigger lifts this time.
Yeah, he's a dark horse, but he might not run. Like he might.
I think you're on the money with Greg Abbott. I think if he wants one, it's not clear to me that
I don't know if he'll win, but I think dark horse he can pull voters.
But like. I think he's got a lot to like run on. I mean, in terms of
policies. Yeah.
I think he has a lot. He's a strong candidate for your nomination.
Yeah, I mean, Texas is doing really good. So like, it's like kind of like we had a few problems, but he's like on the front line for like every issue. Like the only issue is
losing at Tallarico.
Well, the only issue that I think might fuck him is because he's been so tied to Dan Patrick, which is the lieutenant governor here, and Dan Patrick's in the pocket of like big alcohol and big tobacco, and they're pushing hard against the weed shit. And like Abbott has really even moved towards like even legalizing gambling. He was one of the ones that like pushed through the hemp bill originally. So like he's like I feel like he could be it, but that might hold him back some. I don't know if that's like a big enough hot voter issue like to get him. But it also depends on how his campaign is run, right? Like if he has a shit campaign, he can turn to Rick Perry.
Interesting questions. So I think this is going to tell me a lot for the Republican race. One, for you, who do you think Trump will endorse if it's Marco Rubio and JD Vance? And the second one, does Vivek run, and how do you feel about that dude? Because he's a Donald Trump disciple, so to speak.
Vivek might run. I like Vivek a lot. But okay, this is the argument I had with Nina. I don't know if y'all remember Nina, but she goes and she's like, Gibbs, they're never gonna vote for a brown person. I'm like, okay, my parents, right? They're not like they're from like deep country Texas, right? I talked to them like my adopted parents, not my whatever. And so I'm talking to them, and they're like, we fucking love Vivek. I hope he runs in the future. Vivek's the best. Like, and so these are people that. Like you would usually be surprised they're saying this, like kind of thing. Like I think Vivek's got a pretty good chance if he ran as well. Like he's popular. However, he is very like New Yorky, swarmy kind of thing, and that's going to turn off some Southern people. But it worked for Trump. Like so, I don't know. He has a chance. I don't think he's like out of it. If he wants to run, he might also, if he wins governor, he might like play the long con because he's young. Right, so he might play a few like a decade or so, and then run again. Now that he's got more name recognition.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. Racism is one thing.
That's a good question.
Racism is one thing in the election. I think the biggest problem for Vivek, Ro Khanna, and even JD Vance is the Hinduism. Right, I don't think it's. I don't think it's them being brown. I think Republicans.
I think Vivek's a Christian though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was.
He's just Indian, right? That's kind of the thing.
No, I thought he was.
Wally.
Yeah, wow.
No, I thought that was
Hindus. That's always.
Yeah, the Vivek is Christian.
But I'm saying for JD Vance, a big point of contention seems to be his wife and his kids, and like their religion and her religion, and so like honestly, I think that I don't know if voters are ready.
An issue for Vance himself and his wife. I don't know that he approves of.
Yeah, I mean, it might, but like as far as who's going to pick, I mean, Trump is very like I think he's going to pick his favorite at the time. I think Rubio is the safer bet. But like I think that Vance, like it's hard to go. Hey, I was vice president. Now I'm not going to run for president. I'm going to run for vice president again. Like that's basically saying you're the future. Wait in the wings. Like if Vance is willing to do that, maybe. But like
I would say it would be a shaft to Vance if Trump doesn't endorse him, unless there's something like break. But like if he chose him to be vice president,
Rubio's leading on so many issues while Trump's leading, Vance leading on only one. Not like this factionalism, but like you like the meme on the right side right now. If you see the memes, it's like first it has like Rubio in the president of Venezuela's outfit, and then next it has Rubio in like an outfit of like I don't know whatever job he was doing, like janitor or cleaning up something. Now, he's like taking front stage on a lot of things versus like Vance is only hitting the corruption.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying in terms of like, political norms of like what
I agree with
overall that like the president should probably endorse his vice president if
but the political norm when it comes to the MAGA administration is loyalty to Trump.
Sure.
So
that's fair.
As of right now, with the recent report, people think Vance is the one who leaked it about him saying, "Yo, we got to release the Epstein files and all that stuff," and now he hasn't been happy with certain things they've been doing.
Well, did you see Vance's interview? Like he came on and like a lot of
Joe Rogan interview, or
and like so a lot of conservatives are like, "Oh, this guy, see, I told you, MAGA's not really whatever." And so this is really a chance for like I think Rubio, like if he just stays the course and doesn't like make the waves and focus on policy, Rubio I think is like a smart enough like old school politician, right? That he's got like he has like a record. He can be like, I did this that was different than Trump. Versus Vance, he's like pushing some stuff that a lot of like old school conservatives they were like, yeah, we wanted to throw Trump in there as a grenade. They didn't really want him to push policy for the perpetuity that are like kind of on the border of MAGA within the MAGA to like old school Republican like line, as opposed to the independent to the like MAGA line or independent to Dem line, right? There's like these other like groups, and I think that Vance like he's trying to separate himself, and it might work, but it might not because like he's like that Joe Rogan interview has been very controversial on the right.
Yeah, it's been a big split on that.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I wanted to go back for Westmore.
I mean, I wouldn't predict anybody, by the way, Brian, if that's what you were saying earlier. I also wouldn't give a prediction, but those are my
this is like again.
I can cite odds.
And again, Gibbs. So the only thing that my pushback against that is that this is like what like cable news shows do, like to fill in time, right? They're like, let's have a segment on the horse race, like
we're doing
years out from the election. It's like, what are we doing here? Like literally, it's just filling time. This is what they do, right? That's like a sign of likelihood. If the election was held today, who would win, right? You mean before the midterms, before the public has even begun to like assess candidates, before anyone announces, before we even like the issues that'll likely be important in 2028 crystallized, before all that, yes, this person has a 3% chance of winning. Wow. Like it's a useless conversation. But like, it's not an insult to our friend Gibbs.
Or we can just have some fun, you know.
I mean, I just
no, Ali, no fun.
I don't know. Maybe
No,
I don't know.
it's a very serious.
No, I'm not insulted. I disagree. I think it's actually super useful, Prime, because like one, this has been extremely interesting to me. From like, because I wanted why I asked is, I wanted to see why y'all thought who y'all were pushing, like what, and so like then in my head I'm okay, like how do they match up against any of these candidates I mentioned, and maybe some other ones I like didn't, right? And so immediately to me, I'm like, I'm sure that other campaign managers do the same calculations, right? Mm-hmm. So like finding out what y'all are talking about, and this is why I love coming on these panels and talking to lefties in general as opposed to just talking. I don't need someone to tell me my right-leaning opinion. What I do need is insight into how lefties and liberals think, right? So like y'all are going like, why do y'all like this candidate? Okay, what's their pros? What's something that you like value? Like all of this is extremely, I think, useful to me. Like so, but I understand why you don't like it, but I disagree when you say like the news is just doing it to fill time. I think there's a large segment that like is calculating on this stuff.
I think much of cable news is literally
I understand.
Like I think this is one of those. I think it does have merit the closer we get to it, right? Like and like this race actually starts to take shape, right? But literally no one's announced, right? No one's coming close to announce. We have to get past the midterm for that to even be a possibility. That's when these things start to take shape. I can move on from that. Anyway, the thing about Westmore, I was interested in Westmore. Again,
you mentioned him a while back.
You do remember? I was going to bring up that moment. So Corey remembers this. When Tapioca Brains Joe Biden was about to be thrown out on his ass, right? There was that moment in time where we're like, okay, who we're gonna pick, right? Who's gonna be the guy? And then we had a conversation here on the Reverie, and they asked me like, well, who do you want? And I didn't have a very strong feelings for anyone who could realistically get the nomination, right? Not like obviously I have strong feelings for the people I like, right? But none of them will realistically only get the nomination. So like, who could actually probably get it, right? And so I'm like, well, if we go through a primary event, like a not a primary event, it's they want a convention, do it through a convention, nominate through a convention. If we were going to do through the convention process, I'm like, okay, Westmore, right? I said Westmore here, and then they were like, who? That was like Scott and Latch were like, who is that, right? I just went, oh yeah, he's the governor from Maryland. Like, I never heard of him, right? And that's rare. Most people haven't heard of him. He doesn't have a big name. But I was a bit impressed with like what I'd heard about him. I'm like, oh, this guy might be okay, right? Turns out he's the standard corporate politician, right? He doesn't have any principles either. Like, it's a shame, right? And again, I was hoping for this guy, but he's just like standard corporatist. There's nothing special about him, unfortunately. He's super handsome. He's super fucking handsome. But even better looking than Newsom, I would say.
Fair enough. Hey, everybody got a type. I will say that Westmore is definitely. I'm gonna see what he can do. He's been raising his profile with going on Stephen A, which I hate because I think Stephen A is awful. But he's been going on Stephen A to raise his profile with him, especially Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith's trying to be in the politics space. And
I'm just making sure we're talking about the same person.
Yeah, same person. And then he went on Jubilee recently. So it's very clear he's trying to raise his social or just general name and to go on a presidential run. I think that's pretty obvious.
Stephen A. Smith? You think Stephen A. Smith is going to run?
No. Westmore. Westmore went on.
Westmore.
Westmore was the Jubilee voting versus non-voters, right? The
that was the recent one he did. Yep.
Okay.
It was okay. It was all right. He didn't do great in that.
He had his moments.
But you don't have to do great every single one. This is the big thing. I don't think people understand.
Well, I'm saying for when it's against the abstain vote side, I think it's hard to win against the abstain vote because all they're saying is like, hey, you guys need to be doing better, and all he's saying is like, we will.
But like, okay, I don't even know anything who Westmore is, but like he's going on Jubilee, he's doing something like this gets your name out. And like I think people are so this is actually a content thing as well. People are always so stuck on it has to be perfect or it has to be good. And I'm like, no, like quantity has a value of its own. Like you don't have to hit it out of the park every time.
Him even having the debate and showing up, like showing face in the debate like that is like enough to be like, well, at least he's showing up. At least he's having that conversation.
And you get better by doing these things too.
I agree. I will say that he's probably the most underwhelming politician that went on Jubilee. Like I think Buttigieg, Tallarico both performed better than Westmore. He basically asked the same question 3 times in a row. It's like, y'all should have voted. You guys didn't vote. Yeah. Like it wasn't really very creative questions, and he really tried to be the nice guy the entire time, regardless of what the other person is saying. Yeah. So it wasn't the most impressive thing by any means, and he didn't want to be controversial. You can get better.
He's got time to practice.
It just started, sure, but I am curious to see if he's willing to like play with fire, because I do think people want candidates to be authentic, and I think we're seeing that more from. I think Tallarico was better at that than Westmore was, and so we'll see how that plays out.
I mean, I think the reason why is because he's a standard corporatist, but like that doesn't mean that he can't get better at this. Even standard corporatists can be good debaters. So I look, I don't hate Westmore like I hate some others with a burning passion. To be clear, right? It's not like I got it out for this guy. And if he like got his act together, then maybe, right? But like I mean, it seems like people are just getting caught. People are just getting caught now, right? Like I think that the media landscape is just so much different, right? Like every year the mainstream media loses more of their market share, right? Less people are watching those major platforms, are becoming more and more irrelevant, and the audience that like cares the most about them are dying. Thank fucking God. And that's opened up space for new media, right? And there's a lot of shit like awfulness on new media, but like hey, it opens up the spaces, opens up the voices, right? Like, hey, like people who think like Admiral Gibbs, right, should have a play. And I mean this sincerely, right? Like they should have a space where they can find media that like appeals to them, that like that shares his principles, right? There is of my friend's Gibbs.
The principles about whatever's best for Gibbs.
Whatever's best for
That's his own media. That's his own channel.
That's that's his own dreams. But there should be spaces for them, but there should be spaces. It should be a spectrum of these things, and it's opening up again. And I think in that space it's so much harder to like get over on the same old tricks, right? Just like do the same basic stump speeches. People are just like tired of it. People are just tired of like the same platitudes that the Democrats have given over and over and over again. That's why we're having a fight, a civil war right now in the Democratic Party, and it's a good one to have. Our friends in the Republican Party, they had a civil war not too long ago, and you know what? They produced the most consequential president of our lifetime, right?
But that president like just repeats the same talking points over and over and over.
And he's going to have the most political change that we've ever seen, and he doesn't actually. No, actually, and I think you're wrong about that. Trump is actually quite dynamic with his talking points, right? Like Trump, like actively, especially in his first term, what he would do is he would A/B test.
I don't disagree with the first term, but
okay, well, he's less. Yeah, he's not as good.
I don't see any dynamism.
Second term, he's not as 4
years.
I would say in his first term, he was actually like quite media savvy there, and good with his talking points. But the second term, he's like I said, Kamala lost this thing. But yeah. Anyway, so this is why I don't have. It's difficult for me to see like a Westmore and a Kamala Harris and a Gavin Newsom making it, because they relied heavily on CNN, on MSNBC, on ABC to run cover for them, right? To ask them softball questions, to have them on, right, and give them the lion's share of the coverage and ignore progressives, the left, right? Speaking of Trump, like for those of us who have a long enough political memory, it's probably just me, honestly. But like when Trump ran his first political campaign, like what was infamous was the empty podium. Google this. Google this if you don't understand what I'm talking about. The Trump empty podium. What they would do, what Fox News would do, what CNN would do, and sometimes MSNBC as well, right? When Bernie was having like a rally, they would not cover it, right? Or they would, you'd never hear what he was saying, right? They would just talk over it. Oh yeah, Bernie's having a rally. It's record number of people showing up at the rally, whatever, right? What they would cut to would be Trump, because Trump would be
Trump waiting for him to appear,
waiting for him to appear, waiting for him to appear. They would literally be looking at an empty podium while Bernie Sanders was actually speaking, and they didn't want you to do that. This is the crutch that allowed like Joe Biden and other Democrats like him to win for years. This is what they did for them. The thumb on the political scales. But like I keep saying, they're losing power, and so like they're becoming more and more irrelevant. So it's harder for me to believe that yes, they could just run that same old game in 2028.
I agree and disagree with some things you said there. I will say the new stream media is valuable in the sense that it can provide different types of point of views, different types of conversations. Like I don't really enjoy like the simplistic, formulaic, like moderated debates, but when I have a conversation with a politician, it's much more in depth about policy and it forces them to actually answer questions. So I do think this new space is valuable. And of course, it has its negatives. We all understand. I don't have to litigate that right now. But ultimately, I will say there is still a lot of value of mainstream media because although some of them are dying, a lot of them still exist and a lot of them still vote. And there's a reason why a certain side is trying to buy up all the mainstream media corporations right now so they can kind of push as much as possible. And as of right now, they also have like control of Twitter and they got, True Social, which is like a hub of just pushing MAGA talking points. And then I will say the Democrats, Newsom might be like the biggest social media guy out of the Democratic candidates right now. So I think you're kind of undermining
social media.
Social media. Newsom is probably.
I mean, if Ro Khanna and AOC are in that talking point, then no. But if they're not, then yes.
I don't think they have been doing as much as Newsom social media overall.
AOC.
I'm talking about like amount of content and how much this content's getting eyeballs, not favorability. Favorability.
No, I'm not talking about favorability. I'm not talking about favorability. I'm talking about like the ability to use social media. Absolutely. Like that. That's how. First of all, that's how AOC won her campaign in the first place, right? It was through innovative use of social media. That's what got her there. Ro Khanna, like you guys were something else. I was going to agree with you on the Wes Moore thing for one other reason, right? It's because like you were saying, oh, he's showing up, right? And that's like valuable, right? Like in Gibbs were saying like, hey, like there's a value to quantity, right? Just alone, not even talking about quality. There's a value to quantity. Ro Khanna is constantly doing the rounds. He's always out there. And Ro Khanna is good because unlike the others, the corporatist cowards, right? Like he goes to unfriendly spaces all the time.
And it might be a good thing not to be in the lead, by the way. Like you mentioned Newsom and Kamala. Sometimes it's better.
I want to finish this point. Then I'll go to you. Just very quickly. Ro Khanna, yeah, he's always going to unfriendly spots, right? Unfriendly spots on the right and the left, right? Like you guys are saying, he after going to the West Bank, he got criticized. Where did he get criticized? On the left. He went on to a podcast, a social media thing, right, where he knew he was going to get challenged, right, on some of his thoughts on Israel after of that whole incident. But he goes there. He goes there every time. Ro Khanna never runs away from the smoke. It's incredible. I've never seen a politician like it before, right? I don't think even Bernie is as good. I think Bernie has run in places that Ro Khanna has not, right? This guy like is always there. He never runs. And that means, again, one reason why I think he's going to be a fantastic debater, right? Because he puts himself in these spaces. And that's what you need to do. If you're always going where they agree with you, then you can't practice to be a good debater. That's the way it is, right?
I agree.
And so, yeah, that's why I think Ro Khanna has a very good chance. I was something else I was going to say, but go ahead, Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I think there's like also something to be said for like not being in the lead right off the jump, right? Like, so that's part of the reason I think Trump won in the first 2016 is like the first people went up on there and people were like, oh, it's the same old shit again, right? And I think something with sometimes we have people that have the history like Newsom or AOC or one of these others where or Kamala, where they're gonna be up front. Maybe not AOC as much as the other two, but they're gonna come up and you're gonna have this history. They're gonna take a lot of the flack early, and so then they might start off high, and then you either see like an AOC or Ro Khanna rise. Because they like the right is over here. Like if you're on the right side, we're doing these calculations. Like what's the plan attack? How much time do I spend learning about this person to attack them? Yada yada yada. And so sometimes there's a benefit from being like the outsider, like that's like not the
or the underdog.
Or the underdog. Yeah, or like the lead candidate because you can like knock people out, right? Like when Rick Perry ran, he was one of these top people, and then he made one snafu, and since he was the top, like one of the top,
it was a big snafu.
Yeah, it was a big one, but sure, when you say it, it's like boom. Now this guy's gone, and so everybody's like, well, we're not going to get this guy, even though he was a front runner, right? So like what I'm saying when we were talking about who's most likely and all these things, I think Ro Khanna is an interesting one because on the right, I know that he doesn't really have much of a rep other than, oh, this guy's a crazy fuck. Like, he's not a serious candidate. And like, if he is a serious candidate and the righties just don't know him, that could be a benefit as opposed to like, oh, everybody knows Newsom, crooked Newsom over here. Everybody knows Kaplan Kamala. Like it's like, like that's like something you can prep for. And it might be a benefit to him as well. I mean, if I'm looking at it from a lefty, I'm going to run this guy.
The underdog.
I don't mind the underdog sentiment, but once he gets on the main stage, obviously he has to perform, and that's when a generational candidate would really stand out, like an Obama was when he ran for the first time in 2008. So my thing is for Ro Khanna, I do think he's done a great job in raising his stock. He's attached himself to probably the most bipartisan controversial issue with the Epstein stuff. And I do think he's been in a lot of different spaces. So I'm not going to discount on what Ro Khanna has been doing. And now it seems like he's going to make a name for himself regarding like the Israel issue as well. But at the same time, I don't want to discount what Newsom is doing at the end of the day either, because regardless if he actually is running the account, which I don't think he is, the Twitter account Newsom goes crazy with the tweets attacking Trump and the gimmies. It is Trump-esque, but it's also very hilarious. So that one was really getting in front of people's eyes. And of course, he has his own podcast, and he's getting a lot of criticism. I definitely criticism with some of his conversation with like the right wingers for sure. But then obviously he has some center left individuals like Brian Tyler Cohen and some other politicians. A lot more. I don't really know them, but they're
to be clear, I wasn't saying he's not doing any social media. I'm just saying that like if you're saying the most, right? Like among that group of individuals who could be, contenders, right? It would seem like AOC would be the most. Well, maybe Ro Khanna actually might be her at this point. She doesn't do as much as she used to. And then maybe it's Newsom, and then maybe it's AOC. But like, yeah, I don't know. But I won't die in the hill. I won't die.
Well, Ro Khanna's running for stuff like AOC isn't.
This question: if Newsom does the Hassan Piker podcast episode, will that put him ahead of Ro Khanna for you?
I don't think what exactly.
I don't think Prime is a Hassan fan.
Well, no.
It doesn't matter what he's.
I'm just saying he's a big figure on the far left, and that reaches that space in terms of reach. If he does that podcast episode with Hassan.
So, but you're saying putting him ahead exactly on what?
In terms of like reaching as much people as possible, because like Newsom
or like social media presence.
Social media presence.
Oh, is that what you're asking? Oh,
that's all the question is. Social media presence.
I think I would be surprised if Ro Khanna hasn't done Hassan already.
I think I think he's been.
But he's kind of already in the space, so like that's why Newsom doing it as he's already considered more of a center left. You would probably call him a corporatist. That would be different because it's a space that he hasn't really have favor with right now, the far left or exposure at the
I think I see what you're saying. You're saying that among the people that is Ro Khanna's audience, right? That like there's a lot of overlap, right? The Venn diagram overlaps with Hassan's, right? So the amount of new people you can reach there is less compared to a person like Newsom, who doesn't have so much overlap, and so he get more benefit from that. I mean, I guess I don't know what other spaces. I mean, I don't know, like, but then like fucking Ro Khanna does like all the corporatist spaces that Newsom goes, right? He goes on CNN, he goes on MS Now, he goes on Fox, he's on all those things, right? So all the places he goes, he does. Gavin does, so does Ro Khanna. Like I guess he doesn't have my understanding, he doesn't have podcasts, so there's that.
But Gavin, if anything, like Ro Khanna's like sort of following in Gavin's footsteps. Gavin's already been doing these things for like, I don't know, a decade or more, right?
Also, Ro Khanna's got the baggage.
No, but Ro Khanna's doing like the news shows.
Like well, Newsom's also getting sued, or like you're getting arrested. He had an informant and shit. So like he might not even be in there for like legal reasons if like half this shit ends up being a thing, you know.
Oh, that doesn't matter. I mean, like you could run with a record for president, like Donald Trump.
While in jail, like if you're in jail.
No. If he actually is guilty, Newsom definitely should not run.
No. I didn't say whether he should or not. Right? No, he shouldn't run because he's a filthy corporate. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. He shouldn't run any which way because he's a filthy corporate Zionist. But like in terms of being able to run, yeah, I guess not if he's like physically actually. I don't know. You still might be able to win from. Donald Trump might still have been able to win from behind it.
Should be like one of those rappers making like mixtapes.
Actually, who should run? Hunter Biden should run 2028. I would go
Hunter Biden
all the way.
Jail tapes.
Why not? Hunter
Biden's
been
popular.
Yeah, people seem to like him because he's
Charlie
doing great on Twitter.
His running mate should be Charlie Sheen. I think that'll be a hit, bro, right there.
Okay. So we are running late. Our other person apparently is not showing up. But
with no reason given, they just ghosted.
Ghosted.
No bueno. That's not cool.
It'd be what it be. Hey man, we've been doing this a long time. So not the first, second, or 230 first time that has happened. Okay. So we can so I'll put this up to you guys, right? Do you guys want to do the prepared topic, or do you want to do anything else that you guys are finding interesting? You can say the prepared topic for later when we have more of a full crew, or if you want to do it now, you can do it now.
I suspect it'll just be all of us against Gibbs. Probably.
Yeah, I'm down for a chill stream. You know, do something else because it's just
you don't want these hands, all right.
Right.
Prepping for a grid con, right? A little warm up.
Moderating grid con, that's a really easy job. You shut up, all right? Like, people think it's real difficult, but in person, people are much easier to be like. I don't know. They're not as like fighty.
If people are less aggressive.
I'll tell you what. I had a conversation recently, and maybe this will be interesting to you guys. Just before that, I did another podcast episode. I spoke with a guy who's running an organization called Make Voters Donors.
Make America Great Again.
No, not at all. Actually, I have talked to MAGA politicians before my podcast. I've done that. But Make Voter Donors. So basically, the organization he's trying to put out is to challenge the disgusting amount of money that's put into campaigns, especially in like super PACs because of what happened with Citizens United. So we spoke about that, and he's trying to advocate for an organization where there's going to be something called voter dollars, and basically they're going to have everybody have a amount that they can donate to a campaign, whether it's $50 for a midterm or $100 for a general presidential election. And this is something that will obviously come from tax dollars, but this ensures that everybody gets this and there's not this unfair imbalance of like rich people just buying campaigns.
Wait,
so that's his proposal. What's up?
How does it work? You give $50. Can you go over how that works again? Like
how the process would work is when you register to vote. This is what he told me. When you would register to vote, you would also have the ability to, get into the voter dollar system. And then basically afterwards you would get like a voucher, or you could sign up on your account, and this would have a $50 voter dollar amount, or $100 voter dollar amount, $50 for midterm elections, and then $100 for a general election. And you can use this voter dollar money to donate to campaigns. So it just ensures that everybody has even amount of voter dollar money,
leveling the playing field in terms of funding,
to level the playing field in terms of
the voter has the choice
for campaigns,
who they're funneling their money to.
And and there's not this imbalance of like Elon Musk throwing $2 million to help Vivek through a super PAC.
So this is like getting rid of those, like the ability to make those types of donations, or like super PACs in general, and just gives it all to the voter. Is kind of that the idea?
That's probably the intention.
Yeah.
Whether it can actually happen or not, I guess, is a different story. But
yeah, he's petitioned it.
I think the American, let's say, whatever electoral system, super interesting. Like especially like whatever, I'm Canadian, and it's like obviously American politics gets the most coverage because, well, yeah, one is the most consequential because America is pretty much the global superpower. But then also it's like it seems like your election season never ends. And it's just like one thing after another, like as in like presidential election, midterms.
I mean, I have a prediction. I think there are things though. Like this is what I call like off-season elections that just went. So you have like your presidential, then you have off-season, then you have midterms, then you have off-season, then you have your presidential again, right? Because that's usually how like they break down like for the periods, right, each year. And so what's interesting is during the off seasons, usually you have like party like realignments, right? So you have like this right now, the Dems are all trying to figure out who's going to be the lead. Kamala was gone; he like did badly, right? The Biden like contingent, the neo libs, they're kind of falling apart. Different factions are rising. That's kind of what we're seeing. I think on the Republican side, after midterms, depending on what happens, even if like the Republicans like somehow pull it out, right? I think there's going to be a very big fight within the Republicans, right? Because you're going to see, okay, what's happening post Trump. Right, you're gonna have like, oh, the Christian right, are they gonna take control, or like because now we have the Christian nationalists, or it's like the imperialists gonna take control? That like, right? Do we like? Are you there's all sorts of things. I think it's really interesting because it does kind of never end, but it changes. And I think we're at the cycle right now where it's the dim chaos. The Republicans are kind of united, they're trying to get the midterms done or survive. Maybe both houses, right? And the Dems like trying to figure out who's a leader. And then I think after midterms, it's going to be a similar thing, but for the reversed, for Republicans. And I think it's always depends on who's like in charge of these houses and parties. It's just always changing. I think that's kind of interesting.
You think Trump would allow them to do that though? Because at the end of the day, he still wants
Trump's going to be a lame duck.
He wants them to be aligned with their vision from 2 more years. So this idea of trying to plan beyond him, I don't see it.
What I'm saying is after midterms. So say the Republicans pull it out and keep both houses somehow, right? Which is becoming more and more of a real possibility. All right, if they're able to do that, then I think you're going to have a battle because it's going to be like, who's going to be the guy after Trump? Just look at the conservative content creator space right now. You're like Andrew Wilson, the Crucible. They're like the Christian right. And they're becoming very like, they're starting to become very like, oh, don't interact with those people. They talk to the lefties. Or don't interact with this guy because he's not XYZ. And so other people on the right like are starting to do that, right? And they're like, oh, okay, well, you have like the MAGA people, right? You have like the Ben Shapiro's and Michael Knowles and all of them. But they're not to the extent like what's happening with the left right now, where it's like, like just in the content creator space, you're having DGG versus Hassan, you have the snarkers versus DGG, and like that's like an all-out civil war, right? And I think the Republicans are like at the phase before that, but they're like kind of united, like we have to beat the Dems to ensure at least MAGA for the next 2 years. But after midterms, it's like, okay, well, we're guaranteed to keep it till election of the next president. So then it's like now we can fight each other. Like that's kind of the difference, I think, right now. The Republicans will like unite more to like get one goal done and then fight, as opposed to Dems will like fight. Y'all fight like kill each other just if y'all don't get a goal.
There is a lot more infighting, it seems like, on the left and the right.
Yeah, but the Republicans do it. They do it like more subtly. It's like subtle, one big fight and then it's over. And then versus y'all are like always fighting.
I don't know.
I mean, not always.
I disagree. No. Not talking about, I'm talking about like in terms of like when what it looks like when Republicans fight. But like, putting that aside for a second, we can go back to that topic. But like, I wanted to tackle what our friend Riddell brought us. With this, was it the money voter scheme?
Make voters donors is the
make voters donors. Excuse me. Thank you. So this is an old idea. I've been hearing about this exactly this for years, and we've talked about it for years on this show, and others. Like this isn't new, but so I was sitting here like what are my talking points on this? Like thinking about it from a few years ago, and I remember what my problem with this was. At first blush, it sounds like a good idea, and I'll make a caveat here. I'll say all this with the caveat that I haven't actually heard this person speak that you were talking to. Maybe his plan accounts for all these things. In that case, then maybe I'll change my mind, right? But like. First, it does rely on. It seems like it relies on name recognition. That the person who's simply well known, the most will get the money, right? And if there's another way to raise your name recognition, then they'll always have the advantage. Okay, so meaning that like if you're just an established candidate, right? Like let's say you're already a mayor, right? We instituted this thing today, right? You're already a mayor. Well, that mayor will probably get more of the money, right? Just off the bat. And so like it seems like we're replicating the problem. If like yes, you can't give money to a candidate, but if you can still run TV ads, if a group can run a TV ad, well then they can raise a candidate's profile, raise their name recognition, and then they'll get the most money. It simply recreates the same problem with just like more steps. Like I think that I want to fund candidates, right? Like I want to give them a maybe some sort of baseline so people can actually run a campaign to get them started. Like New York has something like this. Now don't quote me too hard on this, but I believe New York has like some sort of a candidate like a funding scheme. And like I think that's something that helps on. But like you have to get like a certain, if I remember correctly, and again, if I'm wrong, I do apologize because I've never like looked hard into this. So again, take my words for a grain of salt. But I think it's one of the things that like if you get up a certain number of votes, right, or like it gets high enough to the polls or something, then you get access to funding. I think that's the case. And something like that, that's great, right? It gives people into the race. And another thing a problem I had with that scheme is what if you change your mind, right? So like I got a $50 or $100 voucher to give to someone, right? And at the beginning of the campaign, let's say there's two of these, right? One for the primary and one for the general, right? Well, at the beginning of the primary season, I'm like, what's her name, McMorrow or whatever, right? Like she sounds like a great idea. Or what was the other one who's still in the race for Michigan?
Stevens.
Stevens. Yes, thank you, Stevens. I've forgotten her name because life is better that way. But yeah, and then I'm like, oh, Stevens is a great idea. But then I find out, oh, she has dreams about Israel, right? Am I shot out of luck then? Like, does she just have my money? And then I can't switch over to especially like a dark horse candidate. Like it's helped screw them over. Zoran Mamdani, complete dark horse candidate at the start, right? If at the start of the primary season, people were given these vouchers and they could hand them out, well, they would have all gone to Andrew Cuomo. But Mamdani started with like 2% of the vote. What did he do? He stand outside like literally on the streets, just talking to voters, understanding what they wanted, right? And then he built a campaign. He built a massive social media juggernaut, and then he like swung it hard in his direction and crushed. But Andrew Cuomo would have had far more of an advantage. Immediately, people say, "Oh yeah, I'll give it to this guy." Right? I don't know that other guy yet. So,
well, arguably, Cuomo did have the advantage, and it still failed, right? As in, like, he couldn't, because Cuomo already had like the name recognition, and like he was governor before, right? Or mayor, I can't remember. Either way, he
was governor.
Yeah. He was a high political profile, and yet he's still. But like, there's reasons of it, his reputation over time.
Yeah,
the point. Sorry, go ahead. The point of this is like to help even the play through money, right? So yes, he had advantages himself, right, and still managed to squander them. The filthy Zionist managed to do that, but like, yeah, he had those advantages. But yeah, that doesn't mean you win automatically. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if the point of this is to even the playing field, right, through monetary donations, then it doesn't actually do that. For the reasons I listed. But maybe
I don't know that you can ever maybe it's not creative enough. I don't know that you can ever truly level it, but yeah,
I will say the level, but it can be more level, right? Sorry,
sure.
The second point you brought up in terms of like, what if they change their mind? I mean, that sounds like a them issue personally, because I'm not aware of you making donations now and then being able to take your money back. I don't think that's really a thing. But I do think that this was advocated under like the current framework of like based off like current issues with our campaign financing with the Citizen United. The whole idea, which you brought up, was that right now they are trying to make a claim that spending your money is equivalent to free speech, but obviously that's nonsense, especially if you can, send more money versus other people. The equality of the value of the speech itself is automatically deteriorates right in front of us. So he's trying to even out the play field. So if it's free speech, then we all should have equal amount of free speech, is my guess. But I also agree that if you're going to advocate for something regarding limiting campaign financing, you do have to cap the amounts that are being put out to finance these super PACs. And then, of course, there needs to be a serious conversation in terms of like social media and media, showcase of like the candidates, because right now it's heavily skewed with certain people who have more ownership over certain media companies now versus the other side. So I do think a combination.
Sorry, I didn't talk over you. The more I think about it now, like the system that I think New York has, again, I never actually looked hard into this, so if I'm saying something incorrect, I do apologize. I don't mean to misconstrue. But the system I laid out is actually, I think, a much better one. To like have a pool of money, right, that comes out of our taxes, and like to be distributed to candidates once they've like reached a certain level, right? Like you like reach 5% in the polls or something like that, right? Then you can get access to it. And maybe we have a leveling system, right? Then maybe like you get like a 10%, maybe you get more or something. I don't know. Maybe not on that part. But still, like that means that like, hey, a dark horse candidate like Zoran Mondani can still happen. He can still go out there on that street corner, right? And he can still do what he did, right? To build himself up on social media, right? On these other platforms, and like get to that 5% minimum. He can, it's not, if everyone is getting the same amount, then like, I mean, that even it makes it feel less crooked. I don't think we can ever necessarily like our friend Corey said, make things perfectly level, because like because I remember again having these debates previously, and people would say, well, okay, like if I'm a private citizen, can I put up a sign, right, that says vote for Al Sayed, right? Like, can I put that up in my private lawn? The answer is yes. It's like, okay, well, can I as a private citizen pay for like a billboard, right, that says vote for Al Sayed? And if the answer is yes, well, then you just recreate the problem. Then you could just like a private citizen could just buy and put money into this, right? And so like if that's always going to be the case, then okay, then at the very least let's give people a minimum amount, so they can have a fighting shot. And it'll be the policies that do the talking. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, so before what I was trying to bring up before is like, well, how do you guys feel about actual? Actually, maybe it's already in place and I just don't know about it. But like, do you have formal election periods in the United States, as in like something like legally set in stone, as like campaign season is like this many days, or like there's nothing?
No.
Because what I can say is in Canada, once a federal election is called, it's like, I believe it's like 37. The 37 is the minimum days and 51 is the maximum. As in like, that's our like election period, our formal election.
I didn't know Canada does that, but I know the UK does that as something similar as well.
Well, we're technically part of the Commonwealth, right? So
yeah, I mean the Queen is your boss, or sorry, the King. Excuse me now. Sorry. God save the King. And if he shows up, right? Canada like gets himself shipped right. But in any case, so my understanding is that the UK has a similar like campaign season, like this is the time of the big campaign, and then like it ends afterwards. It's actually quite short. When I first heard about it, I was actually quite in favor of this. It's like, oh my god, this is a good idea, because in the U.S. we don't have this. We have our campaign season is nebulous. Now, like I was saying to
that's what I was bringing up before, of like it's just one thing after another, it just like never ends.
Yeah, when I was bringing up to Gibbs and Riddell, where our campaign season typically, in terms of we're talking about presidential campaigns, that typically begins just at like the day after
November 4th, November 5th, or whatever.
Yeah. And sometimes like maybe even a little beforehand. But pretty much just after midterms are done, and it's like a 2-year thing, and like it's so long. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot.
And like you typically hold like once it's debating, like leading up to the election, it's like you have like I think usually like 3 debates spread out over like 6 months, or I don't know. But yeah,
it depends. It depends. It depends if it's like, especially if it's president in the second term. That means like then both parties are like running primaries and all that. But yeah, sure, basically. But in any case, like so someone made the case to me that like actually it's good that the United States has longer term elections. One, because like Canada and I'm just learning Canada and also the UK, right, are tiny pissant countries with like no populations, right? They're just very little. There's no one there, right?
That's right.
Maybe we should annex them. But
that's right.
Yeah. I know it makes my friend Gibbs happy. But yeah,
I told you, you're perfectly aligned here.
We are aligned.
Gibbs 2.0, yeah.
We are aligned in quite a few things, actually. There's no joke.
Yes.
But in any case, yeah, so they're tiny countries, and so yeah, it takes a lot less time to like campaign and let people know about what's going on. But the U.S. is huge, a huge population. There's a lot of time. Like it takes a lot of time for like things to sink into like the general knowledge base. People on like so the fucking Kamala Harris, her campaign ran for what was it, like 109 days or something like that, something along those lines. Like on election day, there was a spike in Google searches for like what happened to Joe Biden, because they didn't know. It takes a long time for that stuff to like filter out to the public. So that 109 days is longer than apparently the elections our friend Corey was saying for like Canada, right? It's longer from my understanding of UK elections. So it takes a long time for people to like even like get the message out. And so and the consequences of who becomes president are pretty huge, right?
I agree there.
If we had like elections that short, like for instance, the dark horse candidates wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have Obama, right? If you guys like Obama, corporate issues, if you like Obama, then you should be happy that we had that long campaign season, because it allowed him, who no one thought he had any chance, to slowly build up, right, and position himself to take advantage of like the housing crash when that happened too. So yeah, it's a big deal. We should have longer ones.
Well, so a couple of things. I'm not sure that the argument that you're making that like the population is like a mediating factor. Like the U.S. is so big, so we need a long campaign so that it sinks into the collective consciousness of whatever the American public. Like, I mean, you have like the largest media apparatus, like pretty much in the world, almost certainly.
So, people don't pay attention to it.
Yeah, people don't. But well, if you're arguing that pretty much Americans are less intelligent than Canadians and UK people, sure, like then I'll bite that bullet.
It's not a matter of intelligence.
But like, I don't know. It's almost like you're, at least in my mind, it's loosely analogous to like, well, you can't have a public health care option in the United States because the population is so big. You can't do it like Norway or the UK because they're small. These are pissant countries.
These not even remotely analogous.
No, they are. Like, why is like, so can you link it to the population? As like things go viral. Like you have cable news, you have social media, like name whatever platform. Why is it a requirement for a extended election season to just get people informed? Like it scales with the country. Like our media apparatus in Canada is like we're a larger country than you just by sheer size in terms of land. Okay,
which and like also our media makes apparatus. No difference.
I agree with you. I agree with
you.
you. As in the land just being a lot like it's not a moderating factor.
Yeah, it's about the population. So
I don't think it's about population. Like how linkage, connect the dots.
Sure. First of all, I'll have to disconnect the dots because healthcare would have that argument has nothing to do with here, right? Because we have a larger country.
Do you need to fund healthcare? Do you need to fund public healthcare?
Hold on, come on, Corey, please, right? Like the argument there is that yes, it's a matter of one, like the argument against Medicare for all is that yes, it's a matter of funding and it's a matter of supply in terms of like doctors and hospitals and that infrastructure. That's the problem. And when we're talking about elections, it's not a matter of like not having enough money, because when we're talking about the Medicare for all, we're talking about a system that will take trillions of dollars to run. This is a tiny drop in the bucket to run our elections compared to the federal budget. Insignificant. And so like we have the money to do that, so that's not a problem. It's a matter of like educating the public on something that has a time limit. There's no time limit for when like they have to start understanding how the new medical system works, right? When they go to the hospital, they'll figure it out.
That's not the analogy that I'm making, though. As in,
okay, well then explain how this analogy works, because it doesn't seem to match up at all.
Okay, sure. I will attempt to explain it. As in, like, so I imagine like if like I pretty much more or less made the argument of like, you know, you can't have a public healthcare option in the United States because the population is so wide and you can't fund it. But I'm pretty sure you'd probably push back of like, well, no, as in like we can scale it up, as in like relative to our population, there's no reason why we can't scale up our budget so that we can meet the medical needs of the population of the United States like they do in, well, obviously there's imperfections in UK and Canadian system, but you seem to, I would imagine, you intuitively or recognize that the large population can scale up to fund public health care in the United States. Is that a fair assessment or not?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I don't see why you cannot apply that logic to you can scale it up, as in you can inform the public in a defined election period because you have the infrastructure and you can scale up the infrastructure to inform the public.
But that's how, that applying more money, right? Okay, so let's just use simple numbers so we can try to understand this, right? We're going to say 100 days, right? 100 days flat, right? Within that 100 days, what do you do? Okay, so we're going to apply just a lot more money and more money and more money until like we are effectively like get all campaign points to eligible voters, right? Well, how do you do that? Well, are you going to do it through TV slots? Guess what? Within 100 days, there is a finite number of slots. You can actually buy them all. At some point, you can buy them all. And then in that period of time, there are people who will not have seen those slots. I won't have seen those slots, right? Because I don't watch TV advertising. You can buy the finite number of radio slots, right? You can buy the finite number of billboards. You can print an infinite, I guess, amount of pamphlets or something and hand those out. So that's one thing, I guess. But like there, at some point, there is a saturation point, right? And presidential elections are the elections that reach those saturated points usually, right? Maybe right now, like the Al Sayed and Stevens thing is reaching that saturation point because of all the Zionist money flooding into there. But right, usually these races are much smaller in scope. And so, and for presidential elections, right, that's where the money advantage actually, like, it's not insignificant, right? But it matters the least because you have the earned what's called the earned media. I think it's called earned media. Earned media attention that you get from like news from people covering you, right? Covering the presidential election, but they're already doing that. Right, and there's a saturation coverage during election time, right? It's already everywhere, and so like, where are you applying this money to? Right? You can apply more money to like, sorry, Leslie, very quickly. You can apply more money to build more infrastructure for Medicare for all, right? Build more hospitals, you can hire more doctors, you can help more students get through medical school, right? You can do that. you can apply more money again and again. But for $100 fixed period, $100-day fixed period of time, there's only so much campaign spots you can buy. Go ahead.
But there's still like everything you just said, like that. I agree with you that there's limited TV spots and whatever. If people still listen to radio, there's technically limited radio spots. But there's, aside from like the space constraints, there's essentially unlimited billboard and pamphlet.
Well, no, there's a limited billboard supply. There's a finite number of billboards in America. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I say in terms of like, there's nothing that's stopping you from increasing the amount of billboard space.
Oh, I saw I see you're saying building more billboards. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, even then,
and also to further clarify, like, even though yes, we have, let's say, a fixed election period or a campaign season in Canada, that does not rule out that like there's absolutely like no campaign activity at all, like 0%. Outside of this fixed, campaign season. It's just like certain rules and regulations kick in terms of financing, but like you can still like get your name out there but before our fixed election period. It's not like once
I mean, I guess that's similar to America then, because only when the elections really start kicking up in certain periods of time where people start saying vote for me for president. The other times is them just raising their own personal stock and calling donors. That's the only
no, but that's not similar to us, because what he's saying that there's like specific rules, right? Like right now, right? Like fucking Gavin Newsom can like announce himself for president and start advertising right now, but there's no restrictions there.
I don't think that can happen in Canada in terms of like whatever, vote for me for the next prime minister type of thing.
Even though it's like not legally applied, it's like implicitly applied.
So
because people don't.
Yeah, but it's not enshrined in law.
Does it need to be?
That's what I'm asking. Of like, maybe it should,
but nobody does that.
But sorry, I don't. So let's look at it from other way. What is the advantage we get from shrinking this, right? Rather than having a long dated time scale.
Well, so I think the potential advantage is it limits the amount of money and spending to a certain extent. Well, assuming it's like it follows somewhat similar patterns of like only here can you start, spending X amount of money or like whatever going all out. Even then, there's still, I believe, campaign limits in Canada, and also only here during this fixed period can you start running whatever TV ads, whatever radio, billboard, blah blah blah. And same thing of like I don't know how it works in the United States, but like even in our local elections here, like when we're electing, let's say the premier in Quebec, it's like there's whatever banners and billboards like on like every lamppost, but then, like pretty much like there's a day, as in like it's like I believe it's in trying to law, like after this date they all have to be down. I don't know if that functions like that in the United States.
No, we don't do that. But like I mean, limiting amount, but like even then, especially when we're talking about presidential campaigns, right? This might be a bit more useful for the smaller races, but like for presidential campaigns, because the stakes are so goddamn huge, like a lot of money is going to flood in. Like people are going to try to maximize amount, even if like there is a saturation point, even within the 2-year time span, right? There's a saturation point as to like simply applying more money, raising another $1 billion, right? Closer to the election really only gets you so much, right? Or maybe gets you literally nothing because there's nothing else to buy. Yeah, right. Like in the end, what you need is people power to actually be excited about your campaign and then go out there and organize for you. That like has like bigger returns at that point. But if you're talking about like applying money, well, even within that time period, right? Because the stakes are so high, there's going to be a lot of money hit there. Like everyone's going to be trying to buy as many TV slots as possible, cover it up, right? Like so, even there's a limited number, right? If I have 60% of them and you have 40% of them, right? Well, then I have some sort of an advantage. Like I don't know.
But then
why.
Then in your mind, what's the advantage for you in like your desire to level the playing field? Like what are you trying to achieve?
I want to give people a chance to be competitive. And
I'm throwing that idea out there with that same intention of like, as in if it's, let's say, more or less like enshrined in law, or like it's in the collective conscious and enshrined in law, like this is our election season, then like a potential candidate can prepare for that. Of like they don't need to do it all year, even though there might be other people doing it all year, but then it's like now it's like my opportunity. They can take the steps.
The more I think about it, the less I like this, right? Because especially if on the left, right, young people who is like the a big constituent on the left, right, and a lot of marginalized people, like they are farther removed from political conversations than conservative voters, right? Like the older voters and whiter voters tend to engage with this more. And so, like within that short time period, you have to engage a traditionally disengaged group of people. Rather than having 2 years to do this, right? You're limiting yourself. This would only hurt Democrats. Like I just don't see how this would help at all.
Well, I say it somewhat jokingly, like if it only hurts, arguably, then you would want that if it only hurts the Democrats.
I mean, fuck the Democrats. But like, no, it's fair. But it would hurt leftists even more, though, right? Like the further left you go, the further more of those groups that you rely on, actually. And yeah, so I don't.
I see. I don't know for sure. Like, I take your point. That is a possibility. And like that is therefore. I can see that potentially happening. I don't know. That's obviously until we run the experiment, we'll never know. But like, I take your point.
Yeah, I just don't see the overall need to create a election season.
I agree. There's no need because obviously it's functioning now.
And yeah,
there's no need to do anything technically.
No. The need would be capping finance spending.
But there's no need to do that though, technically.
Well, yes, there would be a need to do that if our aim is more fair elections.
Okay, with that caveat or that qualifier.
I just don't see the conclusion of, or I don't see the cause of your proposal actually leading into that. I feel like it just won't really make a difference.
I just proposed it as in like this may or may not be beneficial. Like at the end of the day, nope, you can't predict how a policy will play out until you actually try it. But your criticism is totally valid. I don't disagree with it.
The advantages of like limiting PAC spending, right, are actually bigger because what PACs do, they engage in election bundling, right? Like donor bundling, where they take in they do those low lavish parties, right? Here and the candidate shows up, and then these rich fucks can get a picture with them, right? And then they this is exactly what they fucking do, right? They display these pictures in their like offices or whatever the fuck, right? And like, look, I got a picture of Obama, or I got a picture of Trump or DeSantis or whatever, right? That means I'm important. I've got the ear of the president. You don't. Not for most of these people, right? Like yes, you went to a campaign dinner with them, and then you paid for an elevated seating price, so that you can take a picture of them. That's what you got, right? You're one step above getting a cardboard cutout. But in any case, right? Like, what that does is that it gathers this donation money, then puts it under a singular organization to then direct the money to here and there, right, in an organized way. Like if you limit that spending, right, but don't limit individual spending, that still in itself has a massive effect because most of these fuckers, right, aren't politically savvy, don't have the time. I mean, they actually might be business, like might be captains of industry, right? Don't have the time to like be running a political machine in the background. They might be a big fan of fucking DeSantis or whatever the fuck, right? But they just don't have the time with the know-how as to how to apply their money, right? I guess now they each have to hire an individual to apply their money for them in some useful manner, right? That's why they give it to like an expert or an organization that shares their values that will apply this in a manner that would be useful to them. So like if you take that power away from them, yes, people can like I said before, put up a sign, right, and buy a billboard and some of them will, right? But like most of them, many of them, won't be able to do that. That money will not be organized in the same way and be far less effective. So like I'm agreeing with you, Riddell. Basically, just want to put that out there. That like limiting like PAC spending would be where it's at, and like was it Citizen United made that impossible for us.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I mean, an example right now in Ohio is Elon Musk gave Vivek $2 million in this BS super PAC, and for his campaign, and at the same time, also a bunch of like AI investors also threw a bunch of money in there to push data centers in Ohio, which is extremely unpopular because that's what Vivek is going to push, AI and data centers. And the funny thing is, Vivek's also invested in AI and data centers, so he's actually going to make money if they start building data centers in Ohio at the same time. So that, and also in part, the idea that lobbyists, which is like typically the people who are giving a bunch of money to these organizations in the first place, could also propose potential types of legislation. You can really clearly see the conflict of interest. It's supposed to be a situation where you donate to these PACs, super PACs, and there's supposed to be no like colluding between the super PAC and the campaign. And that's obviously just not the case. This is not getting enforced. They are clearly working with each other. Literally, Vivek and Elon were going to be Doge buddies at one point. So yeah, the current way it's working in terms of like certain individuals and certain tax brackets being able to just pour monies to get certain things that they want to pass to like pack their pockets, it's problematic. That's like one of the big issues right now with our elections.
I want to engage because, like I said before, Prime doesn't like when people are left out. I want to engage Gibbs and Ali in the conversation.
Over here gloating. I don't know if you saw what I posted in the background, but I'm having a good day, brothers and sisters in Christ.
Could you tell me? Sorry, like this is quick. Could you explain to me what happened with Counterpoints? You're saying something happened with him, and like, is it something?
I can explain what happened with Counterpoints.
Okay.
So we have.
What do you guys go into? Because I'm gonna have nothing to say. I'm not involved. Connor, I'm not involved.
Connor,
don't attach me to whatever's about to happen.
No, this is all Gibbs. Riddell is totally innocent. Fuck you, bitch. I own you. Anyway, go ahead.
So, you have the implosion of Connor and the exodus of him from DGG. So what happened was, Connor gets starts hearing through the grapevines of Destiny's sexual exploits with another woman, right? Where she claims that they were doing some weird role play, age play, so on and so forth. So Connor calls him out. Connor calls CPS, so on and so forth, does the whole thing. And now, all of DGG hates Connor. Wick, Destiny, all of them are on like a constant attack of Connor over this because he apparently turned on Destiny and they don't think this is the right thing to do. 1 second, this cat. And so now he's fighting for his life. I'm not gonna lie, in the streaming space where constantly anything he does is just
his metaphorical or his livelihood.
Wow, this is
no, literally, because like while everything that's happening is like he has all of DGG at this point attacking him like constantly 24/7, and he can't really do anything at the anymore right now.
Well, and there's also like people that like obviously don't like Destiny in them, so they like teamed up with Connor. They're like, yeah, we'll use Connor for our own ends because this is former. But what like I guess they're not realizing is how many of us conservatives fucking hate this guy. We all of us, every single one, because he's not really conservative. He's fucking a fake liberal Nazi, a piece of shit. Anyway, long story short, y'all, my reasons for hating Connor are a plethora, but. Basically, since he fucking got hit by DGG, his numbers crashed. And so that left him with his 40K channel. Well, if you didn't know this, 40K channels are being taken down left and right. And he basically already trashed his 40K channel when he did this debate with Danny Fortuna and co-signed this tourist leftist bullshit about the female femstones and just like embarrassed himself war-wise. He lost his audience, right? So he's just doing all around failure. Well, today, just a few minutes ago, he posted this thing on Twitter, and he posted this shit about, oh my God, the reason, and this is the direct quote, because Vince Wilson was going in there and promoting GridCon too. So he was in there promoting this thing, and he's like, yeah, it's a real problem that if I want to come back to the debate space, I'm going to have to like get over my hate of Admiral Gibbs because that's like single-handedly stopping it. He's just like it's a great, go watch it. It's 2 minutes of him just booty hurt about Papa Gibbs, and I just want to say... Counterpoints is good.
Counterpoints loves to he does love to die on a hill. That's one of his favorite things to do. He will die on the hills that he makes.
I'm a bad person to hate. I just keep winning.
I think he's pretty prideful.
No. But this whole thing, though, this person that you're sharing, Gibbs, I get that it's in benefit to you, so gloat away. But
I bet he's a leftist veto, probably.
This whole like attack between DGG and Connor and what seems to be like the snarkers or what they call the leftists, right?
Yeah, but do you see how I commented today? I was like, okay, this is not what a conservative. I was like, oh yeah, I know plenty of conservatives are going to go to LibCon, or I know plenty of conservatives are going to go to like, whatever debaters do America, which are these like super leftist events. The only reason a conservative would go to that is so you can like make content like arguing with people, right? But that's not what he's going to do. He's going to go in there, co-sign their agree, like whatever they're saying, which is what he always does. And so, like, when I'm like, it's perfect opportunity for all of us conservatives to be like, listen, we all think all the lefties are a piece of shit, but like, at least call it out that this guy's just an operator because he needs to go. He operated on this side for years and fucked all of us. And now y'all are finally seeing it.
He's an anti-Trump Republican.
I will say this. I have a lot of issues with like the current like drama stuff. I think a lot of it on different angles have been gone way too far, got way too personal, and there's blame all around. But I will say it's kind of similar to like the conversation with the left. You could be conservative and just like hate everything MAGA's doing. I mean,
if I was claiming I was a progressive, and I was like, well, by the way, I'm actually a Gibbsian progressive, so technically everything I say is fucking like left. Like, even though I don't represent any of the values.
I've heard a lot of
the beef between Gibbs and Connor is a bit different.
Conservative. Like, he's super pro.
I don't give a. So what? So are the communists. What does that mean? That means nothing. Being pro-gun isn't fucking for the right. Like that.
That is 100% for the right. What do you mean?
Why are all the commies pro-gun? Every single one, almost, is pro-gun.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about all that.
I take your point that probably most are.
He even tried to. He says he the way you hate Connor is how he talks about like Tim Miller, and also like he's like a big like technocrat conservative too, where he would like be advocating for like certain technocrat type stuff.
Tanner's a neocon.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a neo-lib. That's what he is. He like distinctly is this thing, right? And like
he likes war. He likes the Middle. He wants to take over the Middle East. He wants to take over.
When you look at him, okay, so which all could be neocon positions, but then when you start asking about his domestic positions, they all line up with the neo-libs, right? They're like, I want 90s. They're like, he wants like Trump domestic policy for a lot of shit, right? He's like, oh, like, and so you're just sitting here going, oh, this is a neo-lib. Like that's what he is. But he's like convinced y'all, since he has a slight baritone in his voice and a slight less like that he's like, oh, okay, I'm a fucking conservative, and I'm going to say this forcefully and use like edgy language, and that makes me conservative because I use the F slur. That's not what a conservative is. Have y'all once ever heard me use a slur like on here? No. Like,
I hear you slur your words, but I agree that's different.
That's fair enough. But you get what I'm saying? Like
his channel seems to be still up.
It's up. It's just like
no, it's up. It's just DGG when any group of people are brigading you in the way that
but that's not good.
Well, he went from like averaging thousands and hundreds to averaging like 8
to now he's in the 40s.
It's 8 on Twitch and it's like 20, 30.
Wait. Okay, so I want to clarify. Like, are you saying that like his Warhammer channel is like whatever?
Both. They're all different.
No. His live stream.
Okay, I'm not done. Can you?
Yes.
Okay, but at least. From what I
shut up, Ollie. Go ahead,
Corey. From what I can tell, like, can anybody have like a conversation and like just go back and forth? As in, like, from what I can tell, I'm on his channel. Like, he posted 12 days ago. It's 27K views. 3 weeks ago, 19K. Like, a month ago, 30K.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to like.
Yeah, I mean, there are some indicators that are fine, right? But like, he was also, but previous, if you go further back, it's like way further back, it was much larger. Like, he's definitely, his 40K is probably his most solid thing left, but he's going to do better with the long form because when you post those, because that's going to be more like lore debate as opposed to like when he's done live, like stuff for you, the 40K, he's gone political with it, right? And like, which is fine, but he's like alienated. He's like done stuff like the Femstones, which is kind of hard to explain in a microcosm, but basically he pushed it. he pushed it for like with like lore reasons was his logic. He's like, yeah, it's totally fine. But then when he went up against someone who's like deeply in the lore, it was some gay Italian guy, and there was like actually a liberal. He just like dominated. He like got wrecked, and so he lost like a lot of his live shit for this because he got exposed. And like ever since then,
well, as in like you're saying, like he debated about 40K and like lost the debate.
Yeah, like really poorly. Like it was, but not only did he lose it, it was like shown that he was doing it like in an operative way. Like he was like in a way that just.
But it sounds like he can recover from that problem.
Maybe, but it's like in conjunction with like, okay, the conservatives want him out because we think he's an operator. Like that's been fucking us over for years. You have the Destiny shit, and you just had this other incident. It's like all signs point to failure. And then now he's coming out saying, I don't even know if I can do the debate space because Gibbs is there. I'm like, man, your pussy tastes great. I can't help like to enjoy the tears that are watering my steak this week. Like
I don't disagree that he shouldn't necessarily like avoid you.
And now I know it was his tears that were the offering.
Like,
I mean, anytime Connor and Gibbs have been on a panel together, they just there is.
I'm aware. I've been there each time. Okay, like it seems like if I'm assuming I don't actually know for sure, but I'm assuming let's say his Warhammer channel is like his main source of I don't know about income, but like that's let's say the lion's share of his social media income.
As far as I know, that's true.
Fine.
No,
well, it used to be.
His Counterpoints Politics channel, his live streams were
like they were probably bigger. Like
that was what was making him his money. That's where the
bread and butter was the 40K, but 40K is like not super profitable on YouTube. Like unless like you're a massive person.
I don't know.
It really depends on how much he was getting from super chats from live streams versus the ad revenue. He was getting video.
It was the live streams that were pulling, then the war with DGG kind of leaves him with the 40 to 50 concurrent live viewers, where he was getting to about 150 to 200 at any given point in time.
But I mean, like there's no reason to believe that he can't like it may be a spiral to the bottom. I don't know, but like this happens with many streamers. Like this happened with Destiny many times of like a dip and come back.
Yeah,
up.
but he's not the end.
Yeah, but you have to have a big enough name, and the issue with what was happening with Destiny and the like Counter it's proven is that like when people are linked to Destiny, and that's kind of where they're getting their fame from. The minute that guy decides to turn it off, like, yeah, you can go do your own thing, but now you just have to build your own community from somewhere else.
Let me talk to my crystal girls out there. Let me talk to the crystal girls. Hey, crystal girls,
y'all
believe it? Yeah, I know. This is really a Lactoid thing. Listen, these women, y'all talk about astrology and crystals and karma. This is what karma is. There is not a nicer person in the world than Gibbs until you're on my bad side. And then all the bad things in the world start happening. There's a reason every time someone comes at me cattywampus, my life just dramatically improves. I'm actually like an incubus, right? I like suck off like the pain and suffering that you're having. It makes me more powerful. So like yeah, that's right. And I'm just feeding off it like a very like a parasitic thing. But my life's going to get better. So like guys, this is karma. You come at Papa Gibbs in a nice way, a reasonable way. You can call me an idiot. We can do whatever. Good things happen with, but or you can be Connor and you can watch your career go down in flames, and you're not going to be like the Phoenix because your counterpoints.
Well, I don't know that it's in flames yet.
It's in tatters. It's gone.
I think
hobos are pissed.
I think you're a little bit biased. I think you're a little bit biased. I think everyone knows that you're biased.
I'm just telling you,
he's doing all right. He'll be fine.
But hobos are pissing on his star right now, and like I'm not talking about a star on the Walk of Fame. It's more like the star on a Hershey wrapper from one of those blow pops from back in the day that was blowing in the wind. That's
what I'm saying is for the other side, right? Where it seems that now we're back to Destiny, at least in this sphere, trying to be held as like the liberal.
I'm just saying that video I posted is about to be a bunch of sound clips for me. I'm gonna like have like alerts that are gonna have him bitching these different phrases. Oh, it's gonna be
soundboard. But yeah, so like I don't like that. I don't like where that's going. Where Destiny is back to being the liberal king. At least he's being hosted up by the usual culprits, it seems. And I think that's a little disgusting that it's Destiny versus Hassan, right? And in that war, I'm sorry, but like obviously I do pick the leftist side in that war that's happening.
Well, so
I don't like Hassan, so I would probably align with Destiny. But I will say this: I don't think he's the liberal king. He's just the biggest creator in the liberal space. But of course, you're gonna have that.
That's kind of an issue. So that's an issue.
What are you gonna do? Take away his following? I don't.
Yeah, you guys keep, so if the support keeps being there, right? I mean, that's kind of like the issue is like it seems to be that the liberals are picking the worst of people to support. And that's like the issue where the leftists come in and they're like, they feel like they have the moral superiority over the choices when it's like vote blue no matter who. And it's like, well, that leads to Destiny being the leader of like the Democrats and the digital ground game and the campaigning and so on and so forth. And it's like, well, if you're going to compare the shit between Hassan and Destiny, well, I mean, Destiny is clearly the least moral actor in that like back and forth. And I'm talking about socially, right? You guys are.
I do think he's a sexual deviant. I'll give you that. My thing is with this, I don't, unless you're calling him the king, there's really no power. If he's doing things to advocate for liberal politicians, just like Hassan is advocating for leftists, that's their choice. I don't really care. My only issue is like when we're just like devouring each other. When I think there's a bigger threat on the right, that's my only time I have conversation. But there's like a lot of prominent liberal creators like David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Adam Mockler is going an insane name. I don't see Destiny being like the king of.
Well, I mean, he arguably was a critical piece in carving the space, or maybe a trailblazer, a pioneer. I don't know. But like, as of now, like, let's say, Destiny seems to be the one that is most willing to engage with whatever. As in, like, he doesn't shy away from anything, as opposed to like Hassan.
That's I always got to give that to Destiny. Right, I always got to give him the advantage. Is that like he wants to smoke? He's always willing. Yeah,
Hassan's a coward.
Engage. Yeah, Hassan.
Yes, he is a coward. But like,
that's fair.
Should you should you prop up someone on your side? Here's our coward. And please,
so I think the issue where it comes between the leftists and the liberals is, and this is the way I see it, is that for the leftist side, they want to get shit done, right? Whether it be extreme, whether it be rapid, but like they want shit done. And what it seems with the liberals is that they're okay with the long fight that they know it's going to take, like the 10, they want it to.
They're incrementalists, yes.
Yeah, and it's like, well, we don't have time for the long fight when people, at least the perception of people is that they're going hungry, they can't afford their rent. No one has time for this incrementalist argument, and so that's why the leftists seem to kind of be boosting. And in a world where it seems to be a capitalism versus socialism versus communism, and everyone just thinks that socialism is free healthcare and college, right? That's all they think. That's because they see the other countries, they see lesser countries than us having these things, and it's
you mean
like,
those pissant countries, yes, like Canada,
exactly. and so from the leftist side, they're like, hey, we're in America, we're the greatest country, we're supposed to be the greatest country in the planet, blah 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 blah. But it seems that the pissant countries have all the shit that we want. We are funding these things, and then we can't have them. And the liberals are like, listen, guys, it's just, we got to take it step by step. And it's like, well, the Republicans don't take it step by step. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
So yeah. I'll bridge the gap in the saying that it may have been that way because traditionally, of course, incrementalism was like moving things forward, and we were moving in a good direction. But now we're in a unique time where we can't do that anymore. And ever since we are now in the unique time, I think a lot of liberals have been advocating for pretty aggressive policy, like uncapping the House, Supreme Court reform, banning gerrymandering. They're not a lot of them are like fully on Medicare for all, but they're all pro public option. Public option, though. Like I'm just saying there's ambitious policies. Now a lot of the liberals are locking in. And one thing I agree with you, this is one of my big concerns, and this is how I really was like, bro, we got to start actually doing things. A lot of times it did seem like they weren't actually doing like political activities enough. Like you guys could be talking to candidates, you guys could like organize and do what DGG is doing now, but it took you a while to get here. And I do think they should have been. But
like those first three things you said, what were they again? Something gerrymandering, something and something.
Uncapping the House, getting rid of the filibuster. I didn't say that, but I'm gonna add this. And then Supreme Court reform, banning gerrymandering.
So those all probably sound great to someone who knows policy for the voters, right? Like all they hear is, well, I'm not getting my free healthcare. And it doesn't seem like you guys are even talking about the free college. And it doesn't seem like so that's like when the first four things you name are like things that people maybe should care about in politics, but are like don't feel like those are going to affect their immediate lives, or like it's not the things they necessarily care about. Like,
yeah,
although I understand,
so I agree there.
I do think
those not addressed material conditions.
I gotta say, this is making me feel really good about
you can't. You know what? I agree with you, but those are the what you need to do to address.
Yeah, but or you can do what Trump is doing, which is which is say, hey, I'm going to go after the meat packers. Hey, I'm going to go after these grocery companies. And if they don't lower prices, and then all of a sudden the company's like, I don't know what Trump's going to do, so they just lower prices across the board and take a loss for a while. Consumers are going to go, oh shit, price is low.
Listen, nothing you're doing is working.
I'm just saying, but the people are going to go, oh, I'm just saying that, listen, I'm not going to argue whether or not that's a good economic plan or not. But I will say, if his goal is, what people want to see results,
there's a difference between good economic policy and being effective political.
What I'm saying,
I'm going to say, he pulls trigger, monkey go, okay. And so, like,
it looks like he's doing something. Yeah.
But the issue is that, like, right now, if like Democrats win, well, they have to reverse and work back from all the shit that Trump has done. So it's like, we vote Democrat now, we're not going to see any effects or any fucking. we're going to get back to status quo.
We're back again, baby.
I just disagree. I vehemently disagree. I disagree.
What are the American? Are the American people getting the cheaper rent? Are they getting free healthcare, or are they getting free school? Which one are they getting if the Democrats win right now?
Well, healthcare is possible with the public option. As
free?
For
I want free healthcare like other countries have. They just go to the doctor and no bill.
Or Medicare for all. I just don't think that's in the political capital, but we'll have to see.
Ollie, I didn't sound too hopeful, Ollie.
I don't see. So
like, we're not going to get free healththecare. We're not going to get free college. We're not going to get cheaper rent. So what are we going to get other than politicians making more money? You get
cheaper drugs with the Trump administration. Renegotiated drug prices.
I'll be honest. I'm not a fan of. If I don't get this, then like, fuck the system. I'm just not a fan of that.
No. These are the things that are necessary. So these are the things that are necessary.
The policies I advocate are radical policies. I just want to be
no way.
They're radical in a politically fundamental sense of like reforming the political infrastructure. But Ali is like understandably more concerned, like, how is this going to benefit me in my daily life
as a person? Like, I'm fine. I can afford my rent. We're good. We're very good on my end. But like, it's like I see a lot of people like Hunter and all, and that like attack, for example, rent freeze. To which I'm like, well, yes, I understand everything, but like for the people that are living that are going to get evicted because they can't afford their rent, they can't wait 5 years for policy change and people to build new buildings, and then like they don't have the time to wait for it. So it's like, obviously they're going to vote for a Mamdani who says, hey, I'm going to freeze your rent. We are going to solve this problem for you at least temporarily until we can get new buildings going up and so on and so forth, which is policies that you guys are against. But then for the people, it's like I don't see where liberals have any convincing like argument right now outside of Trump is really bad.
So it's hard when it comes down to this because there's like realistic things you could do and unrealistic things you could do. Yeah. And in this situation, a affordable healthcare option is realistic with the public option. The Medicare for all is just not realistic. And then the idea for rent, that's a local thing. That's why Mamdani is able to do something. The federal government can't enact a federal policy to dictate across the board housing rent.
Well, that's just Trump.
Well, they did during COVID, didn't they? No, was that state?
No, they passed the housing policy, but to freeze rent all across the nation, that's impossible. That's just never going to happen. And then the idea for education, like, the Dems tried to do a lot of very ambitious stuff with it. The student loan forgiveness was a big one under Biden, which is like the most centrist Democrat people have talked about. So they are very clearly big advocates on making education more affordable. And a couple of states have been trying to push like free education more and more. But again, that's not a federal policy. That's a state policy. So there's a couple of things the federal government can do to start pushing really ambitious, really productive policies. But in terms of a lot of the things that people really want immediately, get involved into your state and local elections because they're the ones who actually do those things. That's just how it is.
I mean, wait, sure. But wasn't so like during the whole like anti-Semitism bans on the colleges, didn't Trump take away funding from certain colleges, or did that like pass?
Doing that?
But he did, and then he got a policy enacted across the nation in order to like stop anti-Semitism on campuses. And
he did not get policy enacted across it. He tried to do an executive order, which is illegal. The president can't tell states what to do. That's just
there isn't a law. There isn't a law about anti-Semitism and anti-BDS laws. Yes.
Oh yeah, if we're talking about discrimination, yeah, there's policies like that in terms of like if you're discriminating against, but in terms of taking funding away, in terms of telling certain people you can't fund, you can stop your federal funding. That's one thing, but most of the funding that goes to these schools is not federal; it's state and local. And then all the other things that he tries to implement onto these states and onto these institutions, he cannot do. Executive orders are things that cannot allow you to tell states what to do unless they capitulate. And Republican states capitulate, but Democrat states don't.
Republican schools, aren't also most colleges like liberal like institutions.
Well, like Trump,
I said Republican states, not schools.
Oh, but there were still some universities like Columbia that acquiesced.
Harvard, Columbia, all the big name schools in the liberals in the liberal states acquiesced because Trump, threatened to pull funding.
Yeah, some of them definitely signed up, and then others rebelled against that for sure.
Yeah.
But that's Harvard's their choice really on doing something. That's them signing up to do what Trump is saying to keep that funding, but that's not something you're supposed to be doing. That's not how our system works.
To be doing, but that's kind of my argument is that like Republicans kind of do things that they want to do, and it seems to work out in their benefit. They're all happy, to whatever extent, and so it's like, well, sure, you're not supposed to do these things, but how come they get to do it and they're fine?
They
and then
don't get to do it. How come we have to be
the good? But they're doing it. That's Ali's point. Did he not do it? Did it not play out in reality?
Are you guys telling me you guys want a president to just enact authoritarian policies? Like, is that what
Ali's point is like he wants to get stuff done.
That's not America that I live in.
I think people need like to see actual material effects in their lives, and like the Republicans seem to get it, whether it be like a fake
they're ruining the country. What do you mean they destroyed the Department of Education? A lot of these states
are happy about that. They're getting what they want. They are happy.
Exactly.
No, the elites are getting what the people are not benefiting from.
I'm not the elite. I'm happy the Department of Education.
They think they're benefiting. They are happy. The perception is everything. Like clearly the MAGA crowd is happy with what's happening.
They're happy with anything Trump does. Trump can kill someone. They'd be happy.
Fake news. Fake news. There's all sorts of things we complain about. The difference is, I think, exactly what Ali is talking about, though. And this is what I was talking about with the going after the trust stuff with the which is not very right leaning. Like a lot of our values are very like corporate, but going after like the meat packers, going after the grocery companies, saying, "Oh, y'all are selling it too high," and then immediately the companies going, "Oh no, we're not doing that," and then lowering the prices. Now, whether or not there's actually anything of substance, the fact that they immediately reacted and the consumers can then go, "Oh, look, my groceries are cheaper," is exactly what Ali is talking about. They're seeing like whether it's a good long-term strategy, who knows? But right before midterms, if all your groceries drop by 50 or 30 to 50%, you're going to be like, "Oh, shit, Trump's doing things." Now, if it changed immediately after, that's a whole, whatever. And I'm not sure that it, there's any actual proof that they are doing any of the stuff that's been alleged. But there was an immediate reaction, and if he investigates, be like, "Well, I had to check to make sure," that like there's ways to spin it. So like I think that all he is onto something though with like what the average person here. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't think the average person is actually that like savvy about the long term, right? They like you start talking about stuff they don't understand, like this, like they hear court packing, they're like, "What's that mean?" And they're like, "Oh, the founding fathers had it one way. Why do I want to change it?" Right? It's worked this long, and then someone's like, "Oh, I need something new," and then they're like, "Okay, that's great and all, and that might be a thing, but hey, guess what? The hobo outside just shit on my front porch. That's something to care about a lot more, and then you go, "Oh, I was going to fucking down, the main strip of Los Angeles. There's no businesses now. They care about that, right? Why is everybody moving to Texas? So like people, I think are like that. I think all these kind of onto something though with this though.
People can have feelings, of course, but what it sounds like to me is you're advocating for a dictator to just do things.
What I'm advocating for?
I'm advocating for
what I'm hearing from all of you.
No, what I'm advocating for is this. We got to admit something in America. Right, we got to admit something in America. We either got the sauce and we are the greatest country and we're going to do the benefit, or we don't. And as Americans, we have to look at other empires grow and rise and essentially have better lives than us. And we are, for some reason, like we're not living up to a potential that we were told that we have. So like, so it's not necessarily a dictatorship, but it's like you're saying like, well, we don't have the political capital for Medicare for all. Well, it's like, well, why? We don't have the political capital for like to like have like federal get rid of student loans. Well, it's like, why? Our people are in debt while we have other countries in Europe that have these like styles of have these things, and it's like, yeah, sure, they're smaller countries, but also they don't make as much money as us. They're not the greatest countries, yada yada yada. But like, if I got to compare myself to Norway, if I got to compare myself to like a lot of these European countries, sure, we have AC and I can go to Costco, but like their lives seem a bit easier and better.
A lot of what these countries are able to do, and this is one of the biggest issues we have, is they have way higher taxes. You think the people want higher taxes?
If they get other shit for free, yeah, I think most people will be okay with taxes.
No, Americans do not want higher taxes.
If they actually see their taxes being used properly, yeah, I think people would be fine with taxes. But the issue is we have all these high taxes right now, and we just don't see any of like the benefit.
So, I mean, technically that's not true. But at the same time, I understand your sentiment. I understand your sentiment. My thing is, we can't, if you're going to advocate for these things, like a Medicare for all, you're going to have to raise the taxes. If you're going to do all these things that you're doing with like all these other countries, they're able to afford like education and healthcare, which is like different. Leave, they have their own issues, but it's worse in some areas, but it's a little bit more, it's more affordable because of the higher taxes. Right now, we have a sentiment where people don't want higher taxes for the programs that you're advocating for, and they have a lack of trust in the government right now. So the ability to convince them that you're going to do the policies, because you're already like, oh, I don't trust them to pass policies, even though I'm telling you ways we can do it, but you're saying I don't trust that. And then I'm also going to have to convince the people to raise taxes to do these programs where they are already losing trust. And then at the same time, you're saying, okay, well, if we can't do it the traditional way, the way our system actually works, then the president just has to do something. That's a dictator. And I just can't.
So yeah, but with your plan, the people just suffer, and
that's not true
necessarily. Well, it is true.
If we get rid of the filibuster, we can pass policy immediately. One of the biggest problems right now is that anytime a ambitious policy like the public option or $15 minimum wage was trying to get passed, they didn't have the votes for it in the Senate. So that's one thing. Also, another thing, if you uncap the House, that means you have more representatives that are representative of people that are a little of the amount of people in America right now. The House wasn't supposed to be like capped at the current number it is. We should have way more people in the representatives to represent the huge amount of people we have in America. That's another thing. In terms of like, there is so many things that if they don't do like ambitious things, if we are really at status quo, I would agree with you. But right now, what is being advocated for is changing the system to ensure that, one, corruption is held accountable. Two, policies can now officially start being passed. Three, we don't do these bullshit things regarding elections, regarding gerrymandering, or, you know, potentially overturning Citizens United. So campaign, like billionaires can't just pay for campaigns. There are so many things that they're advocating for to push the country into a place where we can start finally passing the policies that people want. And you're telling me that these are not going to do anything, and that's not accurate.
For the people in their immediate life. So like, when do we get the public option? If things go the way you want them to go, when do we get public option and like cheaper health insurance?
I mean, if it goes the way, we'd have to win the midterms and then the presidency.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, right after 2028, they push the bill. And then if the filibuster is gone, they have the amount of people in the Senate, then it can be pushed pretty quickly. I'm sure they will have all the people really advocating for that. Because right now, one of the biggest things that people are advocating for in terms of overall polling, like top 3 is healthcare. Because right now, so many people are getting kicked off of healthcare. We didn't even talk about this. Hospitals are being closed. Premiums are going up. So people are feeling the effects immediately right now. So you could put out a policy the moment you have the ability, the moment we got a new president, the moment, and then they start enacting it.
Okay, so we have 2 years for that, and that's if everything goes.
Of course, if everything goes well, true,
right? Because we still have to rebuild everything that Trump got like rid of. So like the Department of Education, are we getting cheap? Do you think we're getting cheaper college or free anywhere near like a free college system?
A free college,
like after 28.
A free college system, I don't think that'll be a federal thing. I mean, of course, we still got community
student loan forgiveness.
Student loan forgiveness. I don't know. I'll be curious, but the Supreme Court stopped that, so we'd have to reform the court in order for that to happen.
There you
Okay,
go.
and then what about like the housing? The housing issue is that's a local thing. That's a state thing, right? Or is that a federal thing?
Most of the issues that people have is like zoning laws, and that's state, municipality, local things.
And that's even in democratic states, though, right?
Yeah, if you really want to do that, like even like the rent-free stuff is controversial in every sense of the word, but you're only going to do that if you have like a heavy blue area and everybody's
but even with a heavy blue area, there's for some reason zoning laws against new building.
Well, I'm talking
like
about
in places like New York. No, but like
in terms of
the issue with rent
stuff,
freeze is that like the issue with rent freeze is that we're deterring investors, but like right now we are also deterring investors because they're not zoned, they're not letting developers build, right? But like these are blue states. Why aren't they? Like how come it's not already zoned? Or like how come they're not allowing the zoning already if they're already democratic? Like,
that one there needs to be, from my understanding, a lot more cooperation with like the mayors and of course the governor as well. So that one is like place by place, but I do think that is, if you're going to advocate for something like that, you need to be like pushing the policy. So if you want to criticize Dems, because the only places I really know is doing anything is like Texas. Other than that, a lot of these states not moving me.
The Muslims are building in Texas. They don't want them to build. You know that's the issue in Texas.
Trying. Don't worry.
You guys are afraid of land development. You guys are afraid of land development.
Texas. When I went to Texas, they're like, bro, they're like always building. I'm like, I'm not gonna lie.
That's right. Because we're booming.
Yeah, people are moving there.
Well, your blue cities are booming.
Yeah, the blue cities.
Yeah, no, hold on. Yeah, that's because the cities are always blue. And that is a reason that
I agree.
It's a concentration of stupidity. And that's really all I can do.
Wait.
Concentration of money.
You think Silicon Valley is the concentration of stupidity? And
like
the economy
what happened to that? Listen, just because you have a few like billionaires, right? We got the world's first trillionaire as a conservative now. You know what I'm saying? Big oil, that's big down in Dallas, but that the stock exchange coming to Dallas. It's like when you're sitting here talking about these things. Yeah, maybe there's something, but it's all the conservative people in Texas are the ones in charge making money.
I don't think it makes sense to go to Dallas though. Isn't like the beginning of the day is in New York, like the beginning of time.
I mean, they're already doing it. The reason why
I know they are.
I don't know what the logic is behind it, other than like Dallas has been pushing for like to be like a new economic capital in a bunch of different ways. Like they've been like redone their airports, they've done other things to like attract businesses in addition to what Texas has already done, like laws. So like this has like definitely been like a long term, like 50-year plan for like Dallas has been doing. And they like also and when I say Dallas, I really mean DFW. Because Fort Worth is like one of the few metropolitans that I believe is like votes generally Republican, and like they are like the cattle capital of Texas, right? So you have the oil capital, which is Dallas, which there's no oil anymore being brewed in Dallas, but it used to be, right? And so all the like the main like corporate offices are there, so they got kind of in cahoots with the old Texas land people, old Texas ranchers, and they've been like building this for the last like 100 years, kind of thing, like together between those two cities. It's like Dallas, we're gonna go the like glitz and glamour, and the Fort Worth's going to be like the land shit. I don't know. It's been a long con. Like, it wasn't promised to them 3,000 years ago. They made it themselves, That was a banger right there. That line. Pretty pleased with it.
I don't know. I'm looking at New York. I'm looking at New York. I think Mamdani is going to do great for New York. I think
hopefully,
we see it a couple of years if his shit works, and if it works, I think the center left is going to have a hard time dealing with.
But if it doesn't work, if it fails,
if it fails, we're fine. Yeah, if it fails, then center left wins.
I don't want
New York is a good.
This is my big issue. I don't feel like we should be creating this like separation unless you're clearly anti-American. But in order for
anti-American, arguably,
who
someone like Hassan is anti-American, arguably.
Yeah, he falls under the category of anti-American for sure. So my thing is though, Mamdani, in order for him to do stuff, he has to do stuff with the center-left Kathy Hochul. So I think they need to work together. I am excited with his policy too, because I did say some of the things I was like, I'm not so sure, but if the government-owned or government-run stores works, if the free childcare works, I'm curious to how it works. Of course, there's a difference between scale from a city to a state to a country, but I am interested to see how he plans it out, and if people can get behind it, there would be energy for these type of policies. But we don't have to make it leftist versus center.
I mean,
leftist.
I think the issue is that like and as I've watched it grow, is that the leftists kind of kept pushing for like radical policies, and the more center left kind of kept easing them out and pushing them out, and so on and so forth. And like to call like Hassan anti-American, yeah, I get it, sure, but like also there's a reason why that message is kind of speaking to a lot of people. There's a reason why the anti-imperialist thing works. There's a reason why the pro-socialist, maybe even communist thing works, right? Though I'm not like a pro-China
section of people. Majority of Americans still hate communists and the anti-American stuff.
That's right. We hate the communists.
But I think a majority of Americans also think that the socialism stuff is good, which gets you to the communism.
Well,
stuff, right?
that's a no. Socialism and communism doesn't necessarily have to overlap. I do think there's an interesting conversation of like how you implement social democracy, because like the whole like there's a separation between like certain like type of socialists as like the history of it comes out, and one of the versions that is more so aligned to like current democratic socialism is one that doesn't believe in like workers owning the means of production, but he did believe in pitching ambitious worker framed policy that helps them, and that messaging just works. He was correct about that. So, but he doesn't believe in communism, which is not good. And obviously the anti-American, you can't live in America being anti-American. I'll be honest, that doesn't make sense.
That's I mean, no, I get it. If you want the best,
you technically can, but
if there's a promise given to you, right? If like for me, like I grew up raised on Boy Meets World, right? That was the world I was promised. Was a grocer.
You're looking for your Topanga?
A 3-bedroom house in Pennsylvania. Like you know, they can't do that shit no more. You just can't.
Well, hold on. Well, if you're talking about the world you were promised, Topanga became a lawyer in the sequel. Just saying.
Yeah. It's just
And I'm Corey too, by the way.
I think once again, like we live in America. We are meant to be this like patriotic people. I think we should be a patriotic people, right? Technically speaking, we live in the greatest country on earth, right? Freedom of speech, all that. But if within the demographic of people, like there's even a question or a conversation being had about it, right? If there are voices like Hassan being propped up, if there are right now we have the like the APAC, we're having an APAC conversation Wednesday, so on and so forth. If we're having like this much of a divide in our own country, I think there's something to that, right? I think there's something to like hating what America is and wanting it to be the thing that you think it should be,
or the path it's on.
Well,
we had this debate, whatever.
Like you can hate America, want it to change, and live here, and still like and actually just like you just hate America right now. You could love America.
Yeah,
like,
hating this
future.
version is fine. I hate this version right now. So like I think that's fine, but I do think there's a section of people who just like hate America in its entirety and think it's like an evil country. But ultimately, though, yes, these people are dissatisfied. Yes, they are corralled around people like Hassan, but there's also a whole bunch of people corralled around people like Asmongold and Nick Fuentes. Yeah. So it's like, it's not saying much to me that internet people are rallying around these people in particular. I think there's a problem in America that this is happening, that people have been so dissatisfied. But the people like that are supporting the like far leftists and the people who are supporting the far rightists, they both are dissatisfied with America, but they want completely different versions of America. So there needs to be some type of like moment where we got to really understand this current situation we're in and kind of meet somewhere where it's like, let's have a better America, but not a Christian nationalist, only certain people type of America, or a communist type of America. Like a liberal,
a socialist type of America, a DSA America.
I say we would be a mixed capital. We're a mixed capitalist right now. People used to call raising the minimum wage, and people used to call like parental leave socialist policies. Like, we've done things that were considered socialist. I wouldn't call them socialist. We've done things that are considered socialist, and moved in that direction. So we're a mixed economy. We'll keep on developing a booming economy, but also like keeping it in check so people are not taken advantage of. And I think we should keep on doing that. We will never become socialists because that shit doesn't work and it's never been proven to work.
Well,
So-
I mean, wait. Well, just one last thing. On the parental leave, the getting taken advantage of. I mean, 6 weeks maternity leave ain't really.
Expanded.
I would say you're getting taken advantage of at 6 weeks maternity leave.
It should be expanded, but that like it was.
How long should it be? How long should maternity
nothing.
leave be?
You got to remember,
it's like a year in Quebec, or like 13.
It should be a year, is what I'm saying.
It should be a year. It should be.
Yeah. So like what? So this is like the issue. With, like, when do you think America under your framework gets a 1 year maternity leave for mothers?
You got to remember something though. Before it was implemented, it didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
yeah, but it's like 2026 though right now. Like we can look back and be like, there was a time where we didn't have a vote for women. But like, listen, women can vote now. Like, when do you see maternity leave 1 year?
Was that a serious thing? The maternity leave for a year?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let me just ask you a question. I want you. Okay, Ollie, let's just say you own a restaurant, like, or what do you want to own? Whatever business. You pick. I don't know what kind of businesses you like, but whatever business. It's all these surf shop. Who knows? You like to surf. All right, so you own this, and you have Sally. She's working for you, and you put her on salary. Not a great salary because she's a small shop, but a salary. She got like $50K. Maybe you got some help benefits. Okay, all right. So it's respectable. And Sally goes, "I'm going to take off for a year for my maternity leave." Oh, okay, congratulations, right? So you leave it. She gets pregnant. She leaves 8 months out, and whatever. She takes off. So now you're left without Sally, and you have to have an employee.
Yeah.
Now you have to pay for this person while they're gone on maternity leave the whole time.
No.
Now, not only do
I don't think you should have to pay for that person.
Okay, well that's good. That's step one.
The government pays her.
The government's going to pay for it. The government's going to pay for it. Okay, so that eliminates a couple obstacles. Let's ask the last obstacle then, which is what happens when you've had to replace Sally because you need somebody to do that job for the year she's gone. Does this person now lose their job because Sally's guaranteed her job back?
That happens all the time, I believe.
Yeah,
as in,
yeah.
I see job postings
Sure.
of like need replacement for a person on maternity leave.
I'm just curious how you see this going down. Like, is that like a common thing you want to make like
temp work?
nationwide?
You would have it be listed under temp work. Yeah, that's fine. You're hiring under a 1 year contract. Yeah,
you're just be transparent with the employee. And I did check; it is 12 weeks. But at the end of the day, I mean, right now a lot of policies are being put out there to expand maternity to include fathers and just have parental leave. Like this is something that people are advocating for right now, and I do think it should exist personally. But the general point that I initially inputted is that there has been policies out there that was considered socialist that we've done because it was good for the people, and we'll continue to do that. And this is like the best time to do it more so than ever before. And it's not socialism; it's just under the current mixed capitalist liberal society as it currently exists. You know, as long as it still exists for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. So, Riddell, I'm curious. Since you weren't here last week, because last week we more or less like had this debate, or part of the debate of like, how should we evaluate America? Is America an evil country? The greatest country, somewhere in between. So like part of the prompt was like, do you think America is living up to its self-image as a benevolent, shining city on a hill? How would you answer that question? Out of curiosity.
Current America?
Yeah, living up to its self-image as a benevolent, shining city on a hill.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we're fighting Iran right now, still for no reason. So no, I wouldn't say so at the moment. Yeah.
Would your answer be different 2 years ago? Just 2 years ago?
Would my answer be?
Well, obviously, I'm not asking you to speculate. So yeah, how do you think?
Like,
do you think your answer
under the end of the Biden regime, at the tail end of COVID? I mean, we're still kind of like leading things. I do think at the very least there should have been. I have issues, I have criticisms, but if we compare it to like any other country, yeah, we're pretty clearly deciding how we were handling international situations. Now, could you say we're good in that? I think you could criticize and say we weren't good at that, but that was our role clearly 2 years ago.
Okay, fair enough. So it sounds like more or less like the overall sentiment is unchanged, as in like you like overall, even 2 years ago, not quite living up to the shining city on a hill or the benevolent actor shining city on a hill.
Yeah, I mean, if Trump lived up to the no new wars thing, I probably would have been like, oh, pretty good. He's like, nah.
But now he's just starting and ending wars like on a daily basis. So like the most
peaceful I think he ended like 15 wars at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out.
Round one, he calls each round as a war, you know.
And Iran was obliterated. They had no offensive capabilities, and I think unfortunately some U.S. soldiers just died recently. Right, Gibbs?
Like two or three.
Sorry, say it again.
As in, like, we're on the same page that Iran had no offensive capabilities according to Trump, and yet somehow they managed to kill more soldiers just recently, right?
Hold on, they have capabilities. They just
no. I heard from the commander in chief themselves that they had no navy. Whatever, no Air Force, no soldiers,
they have no
everything
Navy.
obliterated, you know,
they don't
down
have
to rubble.
No, they are down to rubble, but hold on. They're
okay, so those soldiers are killed by rubble, like it's just like throwing rocks.
This is an inappropriate assessment of what has occurred. They are down to rubble.
What did Trump say? What did Trump say?
I'll tell you what they're talking about.
No, that's not my question.
No, this is simple. This is simple. I don't have Trump's exact words in front of me. I wasn't prepared
exactly.
for this conversation. I came in for the healthcare debate, but I do know what we're talking about. And I will say this: there's been multiple stories about their asymmetrical prowess and how they built into one of these islands just full of caves across the thing, and then they're building tunnels. We know that they're asymmetrical. We've seen what they've done with Hezbollah. We've seen what they've done with Hamas. We've seen what they've done with the Quds Force. They're going to be fighting us with asymmetrical warfare. It's not that hard to hide in some rubble. In fact, it might actually protect you from some of the missiles based on if they hit and blow up and rubble goes down, if it's already destroyed. So they can sit here and launch missiles from behind us at ships. I am not that impressed that they got maybe a couple more people. Like, there's a few more people that can probably die in this war on both sides, but mainly on their side. The ratio is like 10 to 1.
So say it, kid. Those soldiers died, not a big deal, right? Say it.
Yeah, it's a small price.
It's a small, yeah, exactly.
We honor their sacrifice. They gave their lives fighting for a just
sacrifice.
Yeah, it was a small sacrifice of their lives. And it was very.
So those soldiers don't really matter, right? So say it. So those soldiers' deaths don't really matter.
It matters.
No,
in the overall grand scheme of things, we all as
a small
humans,
price doesn't really matter, right?
Well, as humans, we all small in the grand scheme of things, and all our lives don't really matter. But
true.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So when Trump said that they had no offensive capabilities whatsoever, like, was he just misinformed, lying?
No, they have asymmetrical abilities.
No, but that's not my question. That's not my question. When Trump
talked about the power in the caves, and they talked about
when Trump said they have no offensive capabilities, was he like misinformed, lying, something else?
I would argue that once again, he has not been disproven. They have very limited to next to none.
No. What does no offensive capabilities mean to you?
It means they're not going to be able to attack the motherland. They're not going to be able to do much other than lie down, take a random swing at somebody.
Well, wait. So they had capabilities to attack the motherland 6 months ago?
Listen, I don't know. I can tell you, not from the South. In the South, we got expression. There's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal. They're wounded and dying. They don't got much left, but they might get a swipe at you once or twice before they go. That's what they're doing.
Okay,
lots
of cope and just dodging the question. But
no cope. I just don't have the exact quotes in front of me to be able to prove or disprove.
You want me to dig them up?
Yeah, if you want to. Then I can.
Okay, and then you'll respond directly to the quote when I ask the question.
Sure. Yeah, you can tell me. I mean, as long as the Iran war goes on, my money goes up. So, you hit me and I'll tell you an appropriate response from my point of view.
Gibbs better than on Polymarket. Hey, will a war start again?
I actually have not bet on the Polymarket, but I should. I think that would be a good bet. I mean, I really think that after midterms, they're really going to get an ass whipping.
Okay, after the midterms thing, my issue with the war is that you're not going to be able to end it soon. There is no end to the war soon. These people, especially the Iranian regime right now, it's not like they're going to wait a few months and then some fuck shit's going to happen. They're not going to let it end in the way that it did. So we have a forever war. I'm thinking Trump is going to follow in suit of Bibi and be like, well, what's called in Ukraine. And we have a wartime president who can't leave office. That's what I'm thinking is this happens. We stay in war for the next 2 years with Iran. The next prime minister in Israel wants to go to Turkey next, so we're gonna fight a NATO NATO ally, It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be an interesting time.
Okay, so
he's not really our ally though.
So here's the quote, I believe, at a rally in Pennsylvania. This is from Donald Trump.
I'm okay with Turkey going.
Okay, so but remember, this wasn't easy. We had 47 years worth of presidents and other people, other countries too. We're not the only one that never did anything. They were the bully of the Middle East, and now we're leaving Iran with no navy, no air force, no anti-aircraft, no missile capability, no nuclear program. So then how do these soldiers, so if that's the case.
Well, that's real simple. You know, the word that he used is leaving. We haven't left yet. Once we do. Come on, it's in the words.
Okay, so you agree that the war is not won yet.
I would, like I said, my assessment is that it's
so then you have not won the war. The war is not won yet.
I mean, it depends on what you define as
we're currently winning. We're in the process of winning.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, there's gonna be lots of starts and starts. You know, when like we say it's over, it's over.
Oh no, wait. Actually, no, wait.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a separate operation.
Actually, no. I can continue the quote. This is the following paragraph afterwards. We're leaving them without any nuclear capacity, and they've agreed to that, and we're getting along quite well. Although if you read the fake news, you never know. Think of it, the fake news. They have no army, they have no navy, they have no air force, they have no anti-aircraft. We can fly over Tehran, just that. So now he changes the present.
Well, yeah, and then he said that they were reasonable people and all that shit too. You remember? And then they asked him about that recently. He's like, "Oh yeah." Then I dealt with them for a week, and then I mean, you know, presidents are allowed to change their minds. In fact, I would encourage them to do so. Sometimes it's good to be able to see if they interact.
It's good to be wish-washy as a president.
Yeah, well, no, sometimes it's good,
especially in a time of war.
It's good to interact with the situation and go, you know 100%. What? I was right the first time. I just need to go double down on bombing the shit out of them. Like I think sometimes you got to stay the course. And you know, he was giving in to more feminine, like softer voices that wanted things to stop because things were getting a little messy, and he just needs to stay his hand. But I don't think
the effeminate, softer voices he was giving into.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the people like here on this panel that want this war to stop because they think it's an Israeli.
Oh, he was listening to the American people.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I want the ones that don't like America being first, right? We're not. Listen, true patriots know this really puts us on the map even more. So I'm just saying.
Hell yeah, just like Afghanistan and Iraq. It was just,
Afghanistan, we just didn't have to stomach. We should have just stuck it out. But that's
just another 2 decades, and you would have
probably another 8. For being honest, but
8 decades. Okay, sure.
You don't think long term enough, Corey?
You're right.
These people, these libcons and neocons, and all
Afghanistan was like $3 trillion in totality. What's another like 30, 40, 50 trillion?
Yeah, I mean, and we're already there.
And that's without Afghanistan.
I just want people to afford rent. Listen, you listen. None of you are going to be able to buy a house. None of you are going to be able to buy a house in this country anymore. I just want you to be able to afford rent.
Then you don't need the rent because you can just be passed out under a bridge. And with
that part, right?
you just want another opium epidemic in.
I'm just throwing out possible hypotheticals.
Gibbs is okay with like a rising homeless population. Because he's going to build a fortress for himself, right? That's the thought. Like I've learned Gibbs's thought method. It's like it's just as long as it doesn't affect him, it's fine. Whatever issue or complication comes off of whatever policy, it's fine.
That how many other people have this same mindset?
No, I know. I understand it. That's why I understand you. That's why I've never called you dumb, Gibbs. I've always been like, yeah, I get it.
I appreciate it. Otherwise, you might end up like Connor, crying and saying, "I can't show the face."
Oh, man. I think your obsession with Connor's a little bit unhealthy, but
both obsessed with each other.
Maybe it's just winning.
I have no problem saying Connor's obsession with Gibbs is also unhealthy. Mm-hmm. Okay,
but one side is just me shitting on him and laughing. The other side is him just like actually seeing it in a rage. Like, it's very satisfying.
Where did Prime go? Are you still there, Prime?
He's still there, probably. Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he really was just there.
Are you like?
I
thought he took a nap.
He does.
No.
Prime doesn't do that, as far as I know.
No nap.
I think he's cranking it.
Hey, I recently got in.
Yes, Gibbs.
Oh, baby.
Hey, man.
Whatever floats your boat, man. Yeah.
Gibbs, are you pro or anti data center?
That's a real good question.
Are you pro data center in your backyard?
I actually don't think you'd like data centers.
I think it depends. Like, I'm not inherently like opposed, right? So right now, there's a big water problem here in Texas, and the rains this last week and a half have really like solved that for like the next year or two. But that's not a long-term thing, right? So if data centers could find a way not to just be eating up the water, I would, and if there was like other stuff, then I'd be okay with it, because I've seen some data centers they design like to purposely insulate the sound. That like they put them out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like environmentally friendly. And they spent the money to have like kind of looking forward. But a lot of the data centers are being built, and they're just like, oh, build the best thing that's right now. Don't look forward, right?
Yeah,
and
in the backyard of some.
Yeah, and so like I don't particularly want that. Like I think the ones that have like built like, and the problem is like who's investing now. The companies that have done this with the like looking forward approach obviously spend way much more money up front, right? And so those are probably companies that are going to be doing more environmental relations. They're going to be doing more public creation. So like I think that like I mean my thing is really the water is like if there's no fucking water. I guess there's no cows.
Be for what's the
I mean, there's no cows. Yeah, there's gonna be no.
Wait, Gibbs. If there's no, well, here's the thing. No. Well, the data center
meat prices are high now. We're really gonna need the artificial meat.
They're probably pro the 3D meat printing people, right? So they're just trying to put you out of business, right? They buy your land. No more cows.
But that's not where they're building them, though. I mean, maybe they are trying to say fuck the beef.
Well, right now, Kevin O'Leary's in Utah, right? That's where he's trying to build.
I mean, well, so here in Texas where they're building them out in the hill country, and the people that are getting pissed are the winos, because they're building it in like the areas with wine. Like I guess that they have a wine Texas country, right? And they're building them in the hills, right? So a lot of them are like out in the middle of nowhere, like right. But like there are like there's areas where it's like right up against like they're like touristy areas kind of, and so that's fucking up the tourist industry quite a bit over there. So you have like these kind of like powerful like lobby groups that are like, well, you just drained the river. Now we can't fucking. Now the rest of the economy for the entire city's out. Like so.
Yeah, Texas wineries. I'm sure you're pro Texas winery and anti data center.
Yeah, but there's examples of good and bad. There's like the bad examples of this, and then there's like towns like outside of Austin. I can't remember the name of the town that did this. They had like this like environmentally friendly like company came in there, and they built like they built a facility that didn't have had more room than what they needed, and like it's out in the middle of nowhere, and you can go out there. There's like no sound. It's soundproof. As they spent way more money up front expecting the boom, and like their city has been the city that's like approved it has been real happy with that. Like I would be okay with something like that. I think it just needs to be like not like it needs to like not destroy established industries. Like you want to do an industry in addition to something, not like I want to make it like a market where they can thrive, but not like destroy something just based off like, oh, you're fucking with this shit that you don't understand. Like, okay, there's the lithium deposit out in Sarin Sea here in America, right? And they found out that they can get the lithium from, I guess, the geothermal plants if they just add a thing to it. That's like in addition to. It's not at the expense. Like too many times we try to like regulate things into like where it's, oh, we're gonna regulate to help these people. These other people get fucked. I think there's a smart way to do it, but like, so it's like I'm open minded to it. I guess that's what I'm saying, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think people are gonna start fucking Molotov cocktailing data centers in their neighborhoods. It's getting kind of insane for a lot of people.
Well, now they're talking about putting them in space. Is what Elon Musk is. Wouldn't that solve the problem if we just put them in space?
You think that's going to happen anytime soon? Like,
well, he's talking about doing it now.
He's been talking about getting full self-driving for the past 10 years.
Sure, we already put them in the ocean.
Gibbs, please ignore that. Seriously,
the ocean?
No, not the ocean. The ocean actually might be a better idea.
Well, we know the Starlink shit
it depends. But like for space, like it's a terrible idea. It's extremely hard to radiate heat away in space. That's why I mean,
there's no like air to push it through.
Yeah, we can't get rid of the heat by convention. So no, that's actually extremely poor idea. The amount of energy we need to move that much mass up into space, ridiculous. And then of course the fact that the GPUs fail on a regular basis here on Earth, right? And then you just have to get people to replace those. Can't do that in space. And then there's the radiation.
But they're not the only ones doing it. They're not the only ones doing it. SpaceX is doing it. Blue Origin's doing this. Google's doing it. Axiom Space.
They're all bullshitting you. Yeah, I know. They're all bullshitting. There is no viable way to do this on a mass scale. You can put a server in space, right? You could put something there, yes, but it can't be as efficient as here. It has to use older chips that are more robust and won't be interfered with by the radiation, or else you just have to like put a shit ton of shielding on the ship, which also increases the weight. Like it's a disaster. So no, like they keep talking about this, but I looked into this, man. This thing is a complete fucking mess. The ocean honestly makes a lot better sense.
Well, I also see they have those like insulated ones, or not insulated, what self-contained ones, so the water just gets reused. I've seen that as well as like a big thing.
Yeah,
and like
working with
so like
water.
I feel like the tech is coming. The problem is like you just don't want to be in one of these towns at the early.
You think the tech is coming? Like,
yeah.
He's right. They are improving the data centers. Like data centers are controversial.
You just don't want to be
in space. Like, do you understand that?
I mean, I think there's a variety.
Well, going in space is different from like improving tech on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a variety of solutions to this. So I'm not like super worried about like the long term on the data centers. I'm more worried about like you be a town on the edge of a boom, and then like the tech passes. You know, these outdated systems that ruined your town in a few years, and you never get back what you had. Right? Like I think that's the thing you need to be concerned about. Like, there's no problem building infrastructure if it's planned properly. Like the problem is oftentimes people just like half-ass it, and I don't know. That's kind of my only concern. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we leave it here? Thanks, guys, for being here. It's great, and we'll do more in the future. Let's give an outros. You can. Okay. Do you have to like call out your names? It's weird.
Yes.
Like, guys,
like sometimes you go counterclockwise or clockwise. But yeah. Okay. Sure. You can find me on Twitch, Corey Campbell 84, Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, Substack, TikTok. It's Corey Campbell. Gibbs, Ali, Rodell. Always a pleasure. Love you, Brian.
Thanks so much. Okay.
All right. Yep. My name's Rodell. I run a podcast called The Purple Political Breakdown. Like to have conversations over there. Plan to speak with Ali soon. We're going to be talking about the best topic to talk about in politics, Israel. So we'll be having that conversation soon. I also have some other future guests that I won't spoil for like very important guests for future conversations. But yeah, I literally typically talk about politics a little bit more in depth and kind of have like in-depth conversations. So go check out the podcast.
Thanks so much. Ali, it's your turn. Outros.
Thank you for having me, Prime. Love me my Mondays. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then Admiral Gibbs.
Hey, yeah, I'm Admiral Gibbs. If you like or hate anything I would say, follow me there at Admiral Gibbs everywhere. And come to GridCon 2 in Dallas on the 24th. It'll be fun. And that's it. I think I'm going to be doing some more shit after this. I don't know what we'll be debating, but I think we're going to go to another show. So check us out later, boys. Thanks so much, Prime, as always, for having me.
Absolutely. Are you going to keep streaming?
I am going to keep streaming. I'm going to cover these 2 little drama things, and then I'm probably going to go join a debate panel. So
okay, well, why don't I raid you then? Let's do that. Yeah,
raiding a hot girl. Awesome.
Yeah,
a hot white girl.
I just said I just admitted to fapping to him, so why not? Let's do it. But yeah, like and guys, like go and do the GridCon. Support our good friend Gibbs, who's always supported us. He's always been a homie, so I always gotta try to pay it back in any way that I can. So shout out to our friend Gibbs.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank y'all as always.
All right, fellas. See you next week. I'll see you Wednesday.
Take care. Be well. Yes, always a pleasure.
Peace out.